have ads on Skype. I never really pay attention to the screen that we talk on.
Yeah.
Damn it, there's another one. Holy shit.
Mine
Nothing
just
but
never goes
advertisements
away.
now.
I just have one that sits there the whole time.
I bet you there's a buy button somewhere. Some premium account shit.
Probably.
I'm sorry if I'm smacking. I'm finishing up some fries. Some lukewarm, delicious fries. Have you ever paid for YouTube Red?
I don't think I paid for it itself. I think I paid for a individual movie. Either that or I had a trial to it when it was first coming out.
I haven't made that jump yet. I think what age we're living in where, I get away from watching things on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I get away from seeing commercials because I don't watch TV, and then I go watch YouTube and I got commercials. Like, you just can't get away from commercials. Chris, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When's the last time that you can recall in your life that you have seen a commercial or heard an ad over the radio and said, I'm getting that, and went and did it?
Technically the Assassin's Creed ads, but I already had it pre-ordered, so I don't think that counts. But it's usually something video game related, and I'm probably already going to buy it without seeing the commercial.
Yeah. I can't think of anything, and I mean across the spectrum. Food, appliance, gadget, beverage, anything where I've seen a commercial and said, oh yeah, that's it. That commercial sold me. And it makes me wonder, in some weird way that I would never have the time to actually analyze and research, how much advertisement actually paid. How big of a part of actual, like, consumer life commercials played back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
Like, was that a thing for, like, our parents or our grandparents or great-grandparents? Like, they heard this little jingle over the radio and was like, I'm going to go buy some fucking Cherry Mentos.
The radio, I don't think so much, but the TV, maybe. Keeping in mind that, the internet wasn't always there. You couldn't just go Google this product. I mean, I can't think of any offhand, but I know there have been commercials where I've been like, I'm going to go Google that and see if it's really as interesting as it looks. I know there's something.
Like beverages and cars come to mind. Because Coke commercials are still a thing to this day. They're a thing when the holiday season rolls around. They're a thing during the Super Bowl still. Coke, Sprite, Pepsi, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And I can't, even when they've had like a special kind of soft drink or drink period, I can't recall a time where I've seen a commercial with somebody drinking like, man, I just really want me a ice cold Coca-Cola right now. That commercial got me.
I mean, maybe some of the off flavors, like when they do the Mountain Dew flavors and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They had there was like 4 different ones you could get at one point, and people were voting on them and stuff.
Have you ever bought a Halo Mountain Dew?
Yes.
That wasn't a trick question. I wasn't calling you out. I just want to know. Because I think when Halo 3 came around. I
think so.
I didn't, like, go buy a Mountain Dew just because Halo was on it. I was drinking Mountain Dew, and I was like, oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's usually how those movie/game food or beverage tie-ins catch me. I'm like, I just happen to be getting it. It's like, oh, you guys put fucking Batman on the can.
So I will say that for the Destiny and Red Bull things, I actually bought Red Bull. I don't drink Red Bull. My energy drink of choice is Monster. But I specifically bought Red Bulls because they came with tabs. The tabs had codes on them for Destiny. It was a experience boost, and this is when it was first releasing, or something like that. I know they had Assassin's Creed actually has something, and I think it's still going on with Monster. So I bought 2 Monsters that are PX here on base, and they were the wrong size. They still had the picture, looked identical to the cans with the codes, but it was a smaller can and only the bigger one has the codes. I was so annoyed.
I remember in high school, I used to drink some drink every day. I'm going to assume it was Coke. I don't think I really switched over to Dr. Pepper till I was in my 20s. But because I drank a Coke or a Pepsi damn near every day, they would always have the contests, and or the little, look underneath your cap and you get something. And this is before the codes, mind you, before you had to go, online and register your fucking email address and address and social security number and mother's maiden name. And then you put a 20-digit code in for them to go, fuck you, you didn't win shit. But I used to win free drinks all the time. All the time.
Yeah, I remember all those. It's like, before I leave the store, I'm going to open my cap just in case I got a free one.
Do you remember Pepsi, Crystal Pepsi?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I don't think I ever drank it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure I tried it, but I didn't. I've never really been a Coke or Pepsi fan.
Mm-hmm.
Coke or Pepsi, really.
Yeah.
I've always preferred root beer and stuff like that, or Mountain Dew.
Oh man, you and me remember them cream soda.
Yep. I actually every once in a while I'll get a 2-liter of that because I drink mostly root beer now. But every once in a while I'll get a cream soda.
Guys and gals, sit down for just a minute and just listen to the childhood that me and Chris had a few times. Chill, nothing to do, no school, no guardians around. We would be at our great aunt and great uncle's house, and they would just leave us just to play games in a room alone with nothing to do, no chores, no special shit to do. So we had a Sega Genesis with I don't know, 20, 30 something games, nice TV, 2 controllers, music playing, and then this is back in, we're talking the 90s here, so we had $5, which we took to a local store and bought probably a 4-gallon bag worth of candy. So we had all the candy. We had food damn near delivered to us when it was time to eat, and we had fucking snack cakes and cream soda root beer all day long. And you can't beat that childhood.
Nope.
Now, I will grant you that yes, there's kids outside playing baseball. I'll grant you there's kids fishing. There's kids studying. There's kids doing all kind of things that kids do. What you gotta understand is different kids have different childhoods. This right here is just a little snippet of just this is what life was. Like, this is what it was about back then. Just stuffing your face full of candy and getting hopped up on fucking Airheads and Barks root beer, cream soda, and then playing Sonic 3 and never fucking beating it but not really caring.
Yep.
Oh man, good times.
Sure was.
Hello everybody and welcome to the end of time. I'm Michael.
I'm Chris.
And I am fat off some McDonald's because I am too lazy to go heat something up in the microwave.
So you know what? We were talking about the McRib last week. So we went out of town for Thanksgiving, and I said, you know what? I mentioned to you that we normally stop at McDonald's when we're out of town. So I was like, all right, I'm going to stop at McDonald's like normal, and I'm going to get a McRib or 2. They didn't have them.
Oh, wow.
I was like, it figures. I stop at the McDonald's, it's not one of the ones that's carrying it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I still haven't had a McRib.
This episode of the End of Time cast sponsored by McDonald's. McDonald's, we may or may not have your shit, and we may or may get it wrong even if we have it. Deal with it, fuckers.
Yeah, my burger was a little burnt, but it is what it is.
I got 2 cheeseburgers tonight, and it definitely had the bun, definitely had the meat, definitely had the pickles, did not have the ketchup, which felt was a somewhat dry sandwich. Now, given the industry I currently work in, and given that I deal with this shit every day from actual customers, I thought, well, I totally can just pull around and just go back, and I'm sure they'll give me 2 more cheeseburgers, and I'm sure the manager on duty will make sure it's right. But I pick and choose my battles. Mm-hmm. Number one, it was me and not my wife. If it was my wife, I'm going inside. Not as an asshole, just because I take care of my woman. Mm-hmm. But if I'm really pissed off, like if I spend $12 worth of something, and I'm really, really, really in the mood for that thing, I may go back. I may wait until I get home and make a call. Sometimes I just fucking don't. Yeah. Sometimes I just fucking move on with life. I'm not making a rant or a rave. It's fucking $2 out of my pocket. Yeah. Even if it was $4, man, I'm not gonna fucking go in there and start throwing chairs and putting the manager in a headlock because they forgot 2 of my 4 pickles, you know?
Yeah, it has to be something pretty bad for me to actually complain. You know, I'll make do unless it's, you know, a $50 dinner, and then I might say something, but...
I have been in the food service industry for close to a decade now, and I have seen the highs and lows, both as from a server perspective and from a manager perspective. And it is crazy. I will not fight them. I will not dispute them. I'm completely talking outside of uniform, off collar, off message boards. It blows my mind how ornery people get. And that's saying an easy word, a light word, how crazy people will get about food being wrong.
It's just the articles you read online about these people going nuts. It's like, oh, they forgot my ketchup, so she went in and broke, you know, half the windows and wouldn't leave, you know. It's like, really? Over, you know, or I think there was one as this lady, her chicken nuggets were 1 short of the pack she got, and she went ballistic.
Yep. And again, I get it. I know how there's principles to it. It's not just the fact you're not getting what you want. You paid for a thing, and you want your thing exactly the way the thing is supposed to be. I get that. Yeah. You don't want to feel like somebody's shorting you. I get that too. But I heard a quote one time, a long time ago. I'm understanding. I'll give you whatever the fuck you want. I'll replace whatever you want. I mean, I'll deal with my boss when it comes to that. But when you start becoming belligerent and like swearing and cussing and making a gigantic scene, I kind of start getting a haze over my eyes, you know? I don't understand what the fuck you want at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get the point in it. I could understand if we stole money from you or you think we did. But, yeah. This podcast sponsored by not asshole people who go out to places and eat food and don't fucking act a dick.
Sponsored by your local anger management facility.
That's your calling, Chris. There you go. That should be your part-time job.
I don't know about that. I'm not good at dealing with anger and belligerent attitudes.
I've told my wife several times that whenever I do finally retire, because I'm getting at that old age, when I do finally retire and I can just... I'm going to have to work somewhere. Mm-hmm. I'm still going to work until probably I'm 60, 65, and I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. I've never shied away from working ever since I was 15 years old. But I've told her several times, when I do retire and I get to just go pick somewhere, she's like, oh, well, a good idea for you. You probably like to work at GameStop, huh? Nope. And I'm not even saying that as some GameStop hater. Full disclosure, I don't know about you, Chris. Maybe we can make an end of time cast dual statement here. Okay. I shop at GameStop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a thing that's been a thing for the past 4 or 5 years. Like, everybody hates GameStop and GameStop is the bad place. I get the point.
So, you know, I don't think as a consumer it's bad. I think as working there, it's absolutely terrible based on what I've heard.
Oh, yeah. Now, see, you can hit it from that end. I'm going to hit it from I think it's bad for the business. I mean, literally, their money they buy games and they sell it back, and it's just a big money cycle for them. It's not really giving a lot to the... I get the negative side of the consumer aspect of it. But at the same time, it's not their fault they got big at doing something that it's kind of a smart thing to do, you know? They just got really fucking big and really good at it. If Chris goes out and buys Assassin's Creed Origins, plays it for 2 days, says, fuck this game. Well, I popped the seal on it. I'm stuck with it. And I say, hey, Chris, I'll buy that off you for like $20 less. Yeah, I don't care. I'm not even playing it no more.
Yeah.
That's essentially what they did and still do. It's not their fault if somebody then brings the game back and they sell it again and again. I mean, you're being pissy at the actual gamers.
I mean, Amazon does it.
Amazon, yeah, this is not a new thing.
I mean, it's not limited to games either. Think about textbooks and stuff like that, or normal books just in period. But I was thinking about textbooks from school. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go on there and buy a used textbook because you use it for, 4 weeks to 9 weeks, depending on the, class, and then you're never going to touch it again. So why get a brand new book? I'll get it used, and then I'll trade it in when I'm done.
I understand how huge of a industry gaming is as a whole, and I understand that if they have 100 customers and they physically bought 20 copies of the game and sold it to 20 people, and then the other 80 people are just buying that used. I get it. I understand that that's taking a chunk out of it.
Yeah.
But not everybody has money like that all the time. So, I don't know. Long story short, on my side, I shop at GameStop. And I don't do it regularly because now I buy a lot of items on Steam. I mean, back in the day, I'd buy games all the time in and out of that place, but...
Yeah, I actually mainly used it for DS-related stuff because Amazon and Nintendo at some point didn't get along. I don't know the full story behind it. At one point,
I'm curious now.
Amazon wasn't directly selling DS, the 3DS, 2DS products. All of them were literally third-party sellers.
What?
So to get something release day would actually be the day after or 2 days after it came out because Amazon didn't get it in, to be able to do their release day delivery like they normally do.
Yeah.
So I'd actually pre-order at GameStop DS games. They've gotten better, I think, in the last 2 years or 3 years. And I don't know the whole story behind it, but I know at one point, all of a sudden I was able to buy Nintendo stuff on there. So I don't know if they saw that it was hurting them or what, but so yeah, I pre-order on GameStop.
We could always look this up ourselves, and I'm sure we will. But guys and gals, if you know anything about this Nintendo Amazon possible dispute, let us know. Let us know your thoughts on it. I'd love to know because that's news to me. That's two huge entities not getting along.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and now I just get everything digital. So for the DS, I don't want carry-around cartridges. For the so I went over the holiday and I said, you know what? I want to switch because I can play it while I'm gone. It's basically a handheld device. So I bought a Switch, and as soon as I got back to where I had internet, I bought Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, why would I sit there and carry around cartridges when I can just buy it digitally and have it saved on the device I'm going to carry around with me?
Yeah, man, we could have a full-blown conversation here in a minute about convenience, man. I'm all about it. I love it. But let me curtail get back on track where I was going. So my wife suggested that I should go work for GameStop. And I was saying that whole thing because I know where that's going to go. It's like, oh, GameStop's a horrible place. Yes, I get to and also from pulling back what you said, I've heard from, man, you ain't even got to be a person that has worked in GameStop to tell me that place is bad. When I go in there, I can see it's bad. I've had this dispute back when I was a server. I am not a salesman. I have never been a salesman. I don't want to be a salesman. I do not want to be the person where you come to me, you come in and you're just coming to buy fucking Mario Odyssey. You solely know what the fuck you're coming to do. You come in, you grab the fucking game off the shelf, you wait in line for 4 fucking hours because it takes forever, and you get up there and I'm talking to you for 15 minutes. Hey, there's nothing you're interested in? No. We got this game coming out. It's cool. Let's get some. Nope, not interested. You sure? I mean, it's a good pre-order. We got this thing running around. I was like, yeah, I get it. I'm just, as long as you're typing while you're talking to me, I really don't care. But I'm not. I hate that. And the fact that their job, it seems like it's such a priority that it's damn near like it feels like their job rides on that shit.
It does. It absolutely does.
If they don't sell enough GameStop memberships or power-up rewards, whatever memberships, they don't get enough pre-orders. They don't get enough deals, whatever. Their job rides on that. Now that's fucking crazy to me.
They get hours cut and then downright fired if they don't meet enough sales for all those different things.
So from the GameStop's mentality, I don't want to work there. But second, first, the most priority reason, when I do retire, I'm going to be around 45, 50 years old. I'm not working a customer service job. There is no fucking way I'm doing that anymore. I want to be back in a hole somewhere doing something. I don't know what. I'll work on that down the road, but I just can't, man. I'm already at the point where it feels like I can't deal with it now. It's getting me on edge when I'm at work. I get impatient. I get aggravated. I get frustrated because people just want, and it's not the fact that they want, it's that they have to be a fucking asshole about it. And as somebody, I mean, I'm the worst judge of myself, so people think I'm an asshole, please let me know. But as somebody who's not an asshole, somebody who just goes through life and just fucking handles situations and you know, it blows my mind. I will step in and put my fucking foot down when I have to, but I don't sweat shit like that. I don't take it as a personal offense if, you know, I'm missing like 7 fries out of my McDonald's medium fry. It just doesn't look like it's enough. If for whatever reason I'm in the mood and I really want some more, maybe I'll go back in there, maybe I'll ask for some more. But I'm not going to fucking throw the box down on the counter and slam my hand down and go, hey, I need to see your manager. Yeah, I want right now. Like, no, that's not me, man. And when people do it, it just blows my mind.
Yeah. I hear you.
But swerving back to the conversation we were about to start just then, man, I'm the same way. I felt really weird when I bought my Nintendo 3DS XL. I bought this when I was in the desert, and just because it was the version, it's the Link Between Worlds version.
Yeah.
It's the gold version.
Yeah.
Now, I don't typically buy versions of consoles like that, but that was number one. I wanted a new portable console, and the 3DS XL was the newest one at the time. And two, Link Between Worlds had just come out, so I wanted both. Might as well get both of them.
Right.
And again, I should have known this when I got it, but when it came there, I was looking for the fucking cartridge. It wasn't on the cartridge. It was literally on the console, and I just had to turn on the internet and activate a code. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was so weird. I thought that was so, what? The fucking 90s me was like, well, where's my cartridge? Or what? And it was like, this is actually very fucking convenient. I just go to the home screen and click a button, my game pops up. I don't have to worry about carrying a game with me. I don't have to have it around with me. It's right there. So yeah, I agree. And the same thing on, PC games. I get most every game I have now is on Steam or GOG or something. I don't have I have like 3, I think I have 2, actually no, I have 3 actual PC CDs in my house, and I don't even know what the fuck they are. I've got StarCraft Wings of Liberty, or StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty, and Diablo 2. But I have like 50 games on Steam. They're right there on the computer. They're just literally a click away.
Yeah. I have tons of old CDs still. I never got rid of any of mine, and I don't know how I acquired so many, because I know I didn't buy them all, so I don't know if I was given them or what, but I have, Command and Conquer. I have all the StarCraft CDs. The StarCraft was from a gift. I know that much. I got the battle chest for some holiday. Even though I already owned one of the games or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah. But I've got probably a good 30 PC discs.
Mm-hmm.
In my game case sitting over my bookshelf. Also has all my PlayStation games and stuff in it.
Yep, that's mine too. It has I've got like 4 or 5 Dreamcast discs and like 20-ish PlayStation games, one of which, oh man, Chrono Cross is in there. Mm-hmm. Oh, bad. But that was one of those games where I bought it and then didn't like it, and I just never sold it, so it's there. And yeah, actually, that's probably where my PC games are as well. I thought I was so fucking cool back in the day. I bought one of the big, like, 150 CD things, and they flip over in a book fashion. And so each page has 4 spots for discs.
Yeah.
And I would take the disc and put it in the bottom spot, and I would take the game manual and put it in the top spot. I thought that was the coolest shit in the world. Flash forward to today. I don't have discs and I don't have manuals. I just have the games.
Yeah.
Now, the nostalgic guy in me, the I know my roots guy, the third generation gamer in me, of course, I love having the consoles. I have a whole fucking DVD shelf with a line of Xbox 360 titles and a line of PlayStation 2 titles. But the older I get and the more convenient these things become for me, the more I accept the convenience of the new things. You know, I like it. It's fine by me. I don't have to have the physical thing. It's nice to have it, but if I don't, I'm not shitting a brick.
And I think one of the other convenience things about it is, you know, for the handheld is one thing, it's super nice on the go and whatnot, but even at home with like my Xbox One, the Xbox is not directly in front of me. It is across the room.
Yeah.
So if I want to change games, I have to get up, walk over, you know, change the game, and sure, lazy, blah, 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 whatever.
I was going to say,
but,
listen to us.
But it's just so much more convenient to go, okay, I mean, and if it's one thing, you know, I don't mind, okay, I'm going to do it once before I start playing, then I'm done. But if I'm like, all right, well, I don't really know what I want to play today, so I'll load this up. Nope, not feeling it. Switch to another game. Not feeling it. You know, go back and forth between like 6 games. That's a lot of time spent switching games out. Yeah.
I'm the same way. If I do, number one, you hit on a good thing as well. Just the fact that we have wireless controllers that are just like, they're like the standard. And I love that. I thought it was hot shit back in the day of a fucking Super Nintendo when you would have, or Nintendo when you have a wireless controller. And they were okay. But I mean, now they're standard. You buy an Xbox One X, it's going to come with a wireless controller. Yeah. It should come with 2. I don't know if it comes with 2 or not.
No, they usually come with 1. You have to pay extra for the second.
Yep. Of course. That was a breakaway point for me back in the day when consoles stopped coming directly with games. I never liked that. I was never, ever a fan of that. And I love how now, in multiple ways that are coming back. Like, you not only can just pick a game, I think during the 360 era, there were versions of the console that would come with the game. Like, you could get a Halo 4 edition of your Xbox 360, which would have Halo. It would be the console. It would come with Halo 4. So, boom, you got your game packed in. It would come with a console and a controller that were themed around Halo 4.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, I don't want that. And you're like, all right, that's okay. They got an Assassin's Creed whatever the fuck over here. Here's an Assassin's Creed version. It comes with a game, blah, 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 blah. You could kind of sort of pick your games.
Yeah, so I've actually... Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and one thing, just to fucking, you know, stroke off GameStop a little bit more, they would run deals where you could buy the console and pick like 3 specific games, and you could pick a version with 1 or 2 control. They would let you basically make a deal.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore, but I mean, hey.
I mean, I bought some of those that way.
Yeah.
Where I was like, okay, what games do I want?
Yeah. That's the way it should be to me. In my fucking old school opinion, you buy a console, it needs to come with a game. It should come with a game. And I'm glad they're starting to do that again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of buying the version consoles. Starting with the Halo 3, Halo 3 360. I had
the green one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
sitting
had
in my
those.
closet, even though it doesn't work because of red ring.
Yeah.
But, and then I have so I bought an Xbox One, and the reason I have 2 is because the one I have, the first one I had was the 500 gig one, and I'm constantly out of space on it.
Oh,
and
story of my life.
The Halo 4 edition came out, the silver one with the special controller. So I was like, you know what? I do need more space. It is the terabyte version. I'm going to justify it like that. So,
hey, man, whatever lets you tell yourself okay when you swipe the card. It don't matter.
And
just justify it.
And my Christmas present is the Destiny 2 edition of the PS4 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I see something like that, it depends on what it is, if it looks atrocious or not.
Yeah.
But the Destiny 2 is basically just a white PS4 Pro. So it's not bad. What was it? The Call of Duty one was horrible.
Yeah.
Gears of War looked pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. There's a Call of Duty one. I think there's a PlayStation 4 version, and it has like the actual Roman numeral 3 from Call of Duty 3 on it or whatever. Or it's Black Ops 3 or I don't fucking know.
I mean, there's been pretty much an addition for every Call of Duty, which is a lot of them.
Yeah. But it's basically just that Roman numeral 3 just on the top of the PlayStation 4. It's like, yeah. Somebody was hot to get that one.
Taco Bell had a thing, and the one that you could win on there, I believe, was a gold Xbox One.
Oh, yeah. I remember that back in the day. I say back in the day. It was only a few years ago. Yeah, because I remember seeing posts on Facebook, like, how'd you get this? Like, I won it from Taco Bell.
Yeah. I'm always buying stuff from Taco Bell, trying to win stuff, because they always have consoles. You buy the little box meal, and you get a code on there. So the last one they had was winning a console, and I went 1 for 4 on buying the box, and 3 of them didn't, because 3 of them didn't have codes on them. Even though the thing was running, they gave me the wrong box. Like, really? The 4th time I almost went in and asked for another box. But I was like, okay. The first time I got my code, I was like, okay. I never got a response back from the number you have to text the code to. So I was already annoyed about that. And then the second one didn't give it to me. I'm like, okay, things happen, you know. And it was it was a different Taco Bell too. So I was like, okay, different Taco Bell, not my usual, substandard, okay. But then I went back to the other one, didn't get it. Okay. I don't know.
How many Xbox 360s have you went through in your life?
I have 2. I have the Halo edition that red ringed and the one I replaced it with.
Damn. I've went through 5.
That's unfortunate.
I think the 5th, it's either, now I say I went through 5 and maybe I'm on my 6th, or I went through 4 and I'm on my 5th. I don't remember. But this was a big deal for me back in the day, because this is back when we were playing Call of Duty online together all the time. So, I would not show up for, 2 weeks. That's like 4 different play sessions. Like, yeah, my fucking 360's out and I gotta wait. And I got a good group of friends. Got a great group of friends. They've a couple times have either like grandfathered their old one down to me and they went and got a new one, or they pitched in and bought me one. And I've bought a couple of them myself, but oh man, that console right there, I don't hate it. I mean, obviously I love it. I have 30 or 40 games in my house that's in that library. But that specific console, holy shit. You know how many Nintendos I've had in my life, Chris? 1.
Yeah.
How many Super Nintendos? 1. 64s? 1. Now, granted, I've went through a couple Nintendo 64 controllers because the analog stick wears out really bad, and it wasn't until my later years I figured out how to clean them and fix them myself. But I've only went through 1 console. That's including buying an expansion pack for it. PlayStation, I've had 2 of those. I think because I sold 1, so that don't really count. Mm-hmm. So I'm talking specifically as far as a console breaking. Dreamcast 1, Genesis 1, PlayStation 2 1, PlayStation 3, 4, Xbox 1. I've got only 1. 360, way more. Way too many.
Yeah, so I actually had a scare with my Xbox One, my Halo edition, not too long ago, because a power surge hit. Mm-hmm. And so the console wasn't responding at all. But one of my coworkers, he actually had this problem recently, and we were talking about it. And all he had to do was completely unplug it from the wall for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And it reset some sort of thing inside of it that tripped. And then it worked. So I came home, or actually I forgot about it that afternoon, but then before I went to work the next day, I unplugged it from the wall, or from the back of the console. Or both. I don't remember exactly what I did. But, disconnected power, and then came home from work, plugged it in, and it came back up.
Wow.
So I was so lucky.
Wow. Huh. I've had that happen to my PC one time where something was acting funny and I just unplugged I just removed the power source completely and 5 minutes later plugged it back in and it fixed. I'll tell you a scary secret, Chris. You'd be surprised how many times that actually just fixes an airplane as well. Surprisingly, how many times it's, all right, we've done everything we can. Let's just shut the entire plane down and bring it back up. And then 10 minutes later, hey, everything works. What did you do? Fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Speaking of computers, it's time for me to get me a new one. I need to get a new one. How's yours running? How old is your...
Well, I
we
build
live in
mine, so.
let me pause that because we can't say that anymore. The number one, this is in 1998. You don't have a set model.
Yeah.
Typically, you have parts.
Yeah, I need a new CPU in my gaming computer. Right now, my streaming computer actually has a better PC than my gaming one because it's more CPU intensive. You know, games are typically graphically intensive, so I have a better graphics card in my gaming computer. But I went with a lesser. Actually, I'm trying to think. I had the one in my gaming computer already, and what I normally do is when I'm upgrading the streaming computer, it's based on a part from the gaming computer. You know, upgrade the gaming, old part goes in the streaming to upgrade it. But when I did the last upgrade, I upgraded the CPU in the streaming computer and left the one in my gaming. And the one in my gaming computer is pretty old now. One of my friends, she made a post on Facebook about her new PC specs. So I went to compare the CPU she got because it was a AMD, and I always do Intel. AMD, yeah. Is that right?
Oh, don't ask me.
Anyway, the non-Intel CPU. That shows how much I care about them. I always use Intel, so I was curious where hers matched up with mine, and mine was embarrassingly low on the list. I was like, I'm about due for a upgrade, because I don't know if you look at anything spec related, but I use a website called Passmark, or that's a software they use. It's called Passmark. The website's like cpubenchmark.net or something, and then gpubenchmark.net, but it gives you a chart of pretty much every CPU, GPU, even phones they have a page for now, comparing the power and power per cost and stuff like that, so you know per dollar what is the better deal. You know, if this card's $400 but it's only 1% better than the $200 card, I'm gonna get the $200 card.
Right.
So I always go on there and compare, and they have it broken down in high range, medium range, and low range, and mine was almost down into the medium range.
Well, I mean, that's a medium. That doesn't sound too bad.
It doesn't sound bad.
Breaking low, then that's not too bad.
If it doesn't sound bad, but in the world of CPUs, that's a pretty big gap.
Yeah, it is true.
It's a huge gap. It's like the difference between an i3 and an i7.
Right. Yeah, I've tried to get away with the past couple times with just upgrading my graphics card. I've done pretty well on that because the PC that was built for me it would stay compatible and comparable for a couple years. But even now, even if I get the fucking 1080 GTX card that I want, it's not good enough. I'm at that point where I need a new GPU. a CPU. Not only do I need a new CPU, it's time I upgrade my motherboard.
Yep.
And for me, if I'm upgrading the motherboard and the CPU and the graphics card, it's just time to go ahead and get a new one. I know one thing I'm going to do when I have the money to get this new computer built, I'm definitely going to add way more USB ports. I can never have too many USB ports. I have so I have 2 on the front and I have 12 in the back. Not only are all of those taken up, 2 of them don't work. I still need to troubleshoot that. But that's 10 USB ports that I have used. One of those goes to an external USB port that has 5 ports on it as well, and 4 of those are used. The sad part about this is first world problems, Chris. Of all those USB ports, only 2 of them are 3.0. So when I go to do data management between my 3.0 hard drives, I've only got 2 at a time. Woe is me. Woe is me. And don't even get me started on hard drives. Don't even get me started. I recently had to buy another one. I have too many terabytes.
I actually saw, I almost bought a 8 terabyte external that was on sale.
See, I was thinking about that too, but especially when it comes to hard drives, the closer the hard drives come to bleeding edge, I go about a generation or 2 back. Because I have a myriad history with hard drives going bad. I've been very fortunate that the Western Digital 2 terabyte internal hard drive I have right now, I've had for probably about 3-4 years, and it has not died yet. But man, I've had at least 3 or 4 hard drives in my life go out, and I know there's people that's had way worse, but I've had a lot of irreplaceable things lost. Like, cannot get them back. Unless I want to spend $500, $600, $700 and take it to a clean room place and have it, removed.
Yeah.
But I've got family pictures, personal life pictures, documents, all kind of stuff just gone. So technically, even with all the hard drive space that I have right now and I'm using, I really need to double that because I want to back up the backups.
Yeah, I have tried not to buy more external drives because really what I want is a SAN or NAS, whatever you want to call it, so that I can actually set up RAID with multiple drives and have it a decent size. But just getting the enclosure for a 4-bay SAN is kind of ridiculously priced.
I bet.
Even without including, and that's without including the hard drives.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, really? How much are you going to charge me for a thing? So, it's just annoying.
I think I was actually doing some memory moving because I got my new drive in and I'm swapping shit around and making space and allocating left and right and moving files left and right. I am up to I own 28 terabytes worth of hard drives. Good fucking God. And I have used 16.5 terabytes so far. It's crazy. It's only going to get worse because video quality is only going to go up over time and or game sizes. Good God, I didn't know until I went to uninstall it politely just because I was done with the game. I gingerly removed it from my hard drive. That fucking Doom 2016 was over 80-something gigabytes in size.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
So, while we're on top...
Real quick, how big is Assassin's Creed Origins? Do you know?
Let me look. I have my Xbox booted up.
And while you're looking, what were you about to say?
So, when I got the Switch, I actually had went online and looked to see, okay, what size is the memory in it? Because it's a portable thing, so I want to make sure I have enough space for digital games. And I think it comes with 32 gigs. I was like, oh boy, that's not great when, individual games are more than that.
Yeah, that's not...
So,
wow.
but then, we looked at the size of Super Mario Odyssey because that was the first game I was going to get. And I believe it was only like 6 gigs.
Wow.
To answer your question, Assassin's Creed Origins is 43 gigs.
Wow. Now you think about that for a second. Assassin's Creed Origins is only 40-something gigs.
Yep.
Doom 2016. Doom is over 80.
I had to uninstall Halo because it was up to over like 90 gigs.
Jesus.
I was like, okay, I'm not playing the game. I cannot justify leaving it installed anymore. I have to move on. And Final Fantasy 15 is sitting at 71 gigs right now.
Now, see, Final Fantasy... Well, yeah. My point remains. It's only going to get worse.
Yeah. GTA 5 is 71 gigs.
Yep, I remember that one too. But see, and this is another great thing about having, Steam or GOG or whatever gaming place you use. You buy the game, you purchase it, you own it. It goes on a list. The list cannot be deleted. There's no way you can lose that game. Mm-hmm. The only thing you need to get that game anywhere is an internet connection. And depending on the size of the game, several fucking hours to download it. That would be the one downside to Steam. And it's such a fucking non-issue because usually I'll just download the game when I'm going to work. But I can't seem to get more than like 2 or 3 megabytes per second at a time. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It takes me a day or two to get a game downloaded.
So
but again, no big deal.
So I'm used to my fast internet at home. Talking about downloading on Steam, not an issue. Let it go. It's done relatively quick. Downloading Super Mario Odyssey over the Wi-Fi at where we were, my God. It took like 2.5 hours.
Wow.
And it's only 6 gigs. So it's like, okay, come on. So I actually...
Go ahead.
So I was like, all right, this is telling me it's going to take over 2 hours to do. I'll go see what other games are on sale, download it, play it while I'm waiting.
Mm-hmm.
So I spend some time in the store looking at their deals, and I grabbed this $5 game called Tower of Babel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right. So I have to download it, of course, because it's still digital. So I'm like, all right, I go to download, and the only option is to cancel. There's no pause.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, I've already gone at this point like 30 minutes on the download. I'm like, do I really want to cancel it? Because I don't know how long I'm going to play this other game.
And you don't know if it saves it. Some things, I think Steam will do that. If you cancel a download on Steam, it will pick it back up. It's basically a pause labeled as cancel. Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not going to risk this. So I have this $5 game, Tower of Babel, that I haven't even tried playing. Because I just let the download for Odyssey go through and then played it. But I did buy a 128 gig SD card for the Switch. So I shouldn't have any issue with space ever. Gotcha. So, interesting thing, and I think it's really good design. And I didn't look at any instructions because, I'm a man. What am I supposed to do? But I was looking on the Switch. I'm like, where is the SD card port? I'm like, okay, here's the game. It has its little flap, to protect it. Nothing else. There's the audio input, the power input. Okay, where's the SD thing? And I flip it over, and the Switch, I don't know if you've seen it, but it actually has a stand on it to where you can stand it up on a flat surface and play that way with the controllers unattached. The SD card thing is underneath that stand.
What?
Yeah, so it's really unobtrusive, and you don't have to worry about anything really happening to it because it's covered by the stand as well as its little, I think there's a little flap over it too, but
yeah.
It's interesting.
What is the animation, or better yet, is there an animation or something happening when you're downloading a game on the Switch?
You have a progress bar. I know on the DS you have the little blocks that fall in.
Yeah.
That's not present on the Switch.
Oh, man, I love that.
I think it's just a progress bar with a timer.
Well, poo. I guess all in general, though, you're happy with your Switch, huh? You like it?
So, overall, yes.
Oh, boy. You need to tell me more. That was a reluctant yes.
So, what the Switch comes with is... My God, this nub's already dirty. I just picked up my Switch controller. So what the Switch comes with is the Switch itself, the 2 little controller things you slide on the sides, the stand, as well as this little thing that looks like part of a controller, and you can slide the controllers into it so it kind of rests in your hand more like a traditional controller would, where you have the, for lack of a better word, arms that you're holding on to with the controller. And with playing it with the controllers attached to the Switch screen itself, it started hurting my hands from the way my fingers were all bunched up because they're not big controllers.
That should be a priority one,
Yeah.
damn it.
But putting them on this little controller thing that I could slide them into, so much better. I haven't had a problem since I switched to it. The issue is to use the controller thing, I don't know what to even call it. But to use it, I have to set down the Switch. I'm no longer holding the screen I'm looking at while I'm playing. And I don't know if you've seen the commercials, but they show these people, halfway across the room playing on the Switch.
Yeah.
The screen's way too small for that. If it's more than 2 feet away, I'm not able to see what I'm doing.
Right.
So I'm not a huge fan of that aspect. I don't know what can be done about it. That being said, I do really like the size of it, aside from how that impacts the controllers negatively, because it's very portable.
Yeah.
And it's great for traveling. I actually went on Amazon as soon as... So I had ordered... So we got up where we were going Wednesday night. Went to Walmart to get some breakfast stuff for Thursday and Friday, because Thursday nobody be open in the morning, of course, being Thanksgiving.
Right.
And Friday, didn't want to deal with Black Friday crowds, just trying to go get food. So we go to Walmart, grab stuff. I'm like, you know what? I was thinking about on the drive, I want to go look at a Switch. So we go to the electronics, no Switches in the case. I'm like, okay, I'm sure they'll have some for Black Friday, but then they're all going to be sold out. So I'll just order it on Amazon. So I went on Amazon, ordered the Switch, and then the next morning, I think I ordered a hard carrying case for it, which I got, and I really like it too. So, but then Friday afternoon, we went back to Walmart for something else, and I just went back to electronics to see, what the remainder of the Black Friday stuff was, and it was like nothing, a normal day. The thing was full of Switches. I was like, yeah, literally, there's only like one missing.
Wow.
So I was like, I could buy it, but I already ordered on Amazon, so I pulled up Amazon on my phone, canceled my order, and then bought it at Walmart, so I could play that day. Even though I only had 2 days to wait. I guess 3 days because of the weekend, but
right.
Yeah. So I bought it on the spot, and the lady at the register, she was like, "You should get Super Mario Odyssey. It's really fun." I was like, "Yep, I'm going to download it digitally or buy it digitally as soon as I get it set up."
Yeah. But see, Walmart doesn't make commissions, so they don't care. They're like, "Oh, cool. That's really something you should do."
Yeah, she didn't. I was a little disappointed that I got no response from her at all, either way. She just went on with ringing me up, didn't say another word about it. I was like, okay, well, I thought we were having a conversation here, but okay. We'll just move on with the
She did her part.
Yeah.
Before we get into weeks, and, well, actually, there's a random story I had.
Okay.
I was coming home. Now, this is so out of the norm. I was doing support for another restaurant in several cities away. We're talking like almost an hour drive away. So I was coming back from that one night. I had happened to stop and get gas. While I was getting gas, I was in the mood. I was thirsty. Went inside and got a fucking Gatorade. This episode of the End of Time Cast, sponsored by Gatorade Frost, the thirst quencher. Get your juicy bottle of Riptide Rush at your local Walmart. It's crisp and cool and so delicious. Gatorade Frost. Buy it, fuckers. So anyway, I went to go buy a Gatorade Frost and went to the counter, and in my uniform that I wear, I'm allowed to wear. We have to wear a belt by it's mandatory. You have to wear a belt, and my belt buckle is a classic NES controller belt, the cool little metal kind. I found one of these back at fucking GameStop like 6-7 years ago. And I've had to since replace it. I usually buy them on Amazon. I'm saying this because everybody asks me where the fuck I get this belt buckle from. I get it from Amazon. I buy it online. It may not even be Amazon anymore. I think I have to find them because they don't make them anymore. Anyway, people rarely see my butt ugly face first. They see my belt buckle and they flip their shit. And it's always funny to get the myriad responses from people because you have the random ones, you have the generic ones. Well, you have the random ones that just know what that is. Hey, that's a Nintendo, right? I mean, yeah, that's. I'm not the asshole. That's not a Nintendo. That's a Nintendo controller. I go, yeah, that's a Nintendo. Yeah, I've gotten wiser and less assholey in my later years. You have the other ones that are like, oh man, I had a Nintendo. Yeah, I remember this game and that game, and it's typically insert Mario 3 or Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. I'm like, yep, that's what it's from. So this guy at this random gas station, this random Chevron gas station, saw my belt buckle and immediately went into a like 0 to 60 gaming conversation. I saw his eyes go down to my belt buckle. And he didn't even make like a bridge, Chris. He didn't he didn't see me across the road and signal me up. Hey, bro. Hey, man, come over here. We're cool. He's like, man, so I was playing Front Mission 3 last night. And, there was this one stage with this one battle mech. I could not get the stats down right. I think I had the wrong parts. And he just starts, now, Adam can talk about, Front Mission 3. I hope I'm saying that name right. I believe it's Front Mission 3.
I have no idea.
It's a Squaresoft mech game. There's a bunch of them. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, he's played that. I have not. It's in my list to play. I know it's a great game. But I have not played this game, okay? And it's rare. It's rare for somebody to start talking over my head about games. And he starts going off. And he's asking me questions like, do you remember do you remember the mech? I'm like, nah, man, I haven't played that game yet. And he keeps going. And he follows me, not in a creepy way. He was actually, to his defense, he was outside cleaning his parking lot when I pulled up. So he came in to, give me my service and then left. So he walked back outside, lit up a fucking cigarette and was like, he talked to me for about 8 minutes about this game. And I felt so bad because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking. He's passionate.
Yeah.
He's as passionate as I am about anything game related. He is that passionate about talking to me about this one game. And I have no fucking idea what he's telling me. But I'm like, yeah, man, I've heard, man, it's in my list. I've actually got it on a computer I've got it to play. I'm going to get to it sometime, but I haven't played it yet. And he's like, yes. And then later there's another mission with this girl and I couldn't do this thing. And I'm like, yeah, so I'm going to go home. My wife waiting on me,
That dude just needed a friend.
Bruh, at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning at a gas station that everybody, he sees people coming to get gas. They never come in. And the ones that come in are probably drunk or hobos or drunken hobos. They probably smell of their assholes or they smell so bad of weed they get his whole store smelling like weed, And here's this guy with a fucking Nintendo belt buckle. He was like, that's my guy. And I just wanted to get home.
But you probably made his night.
Oh yeah, the fact that I just put an ear, the fact that I listened and at least understood what he was talking about. And I say that because that is the way that I love finding people like that in my life. I don't know about you, but when I run into gamers in a keep it to myself in a not asshole way, strictly from a conversation level, I gauge and judge people's gaming in my head. When they start talking to me, I'm like, all right, what am I about to roll into? And it typically rolls to the, yeah, I had a PlayStation. Yeah, I had a Sega, because nobody knows it was a fucking Genesis. Or, yeah, I had a 64 and I had, okay, so right there, you're talking to me. I get the 64. Yeah, I had Mario 64. Of course you did. Yeah, I had Star Fox. That's a little, okay, But when you find somebody, this is how, if anybody remembers a guest cast of ours was, Greg from, episode, I don't know, I'll fucking put the number in here, or I won't. It's labeled. When I would talk to him about games, he would randomly throw in, odd games that the average person would not talk about. I love finding people like that. I love when you can just bring up a random game let's talk about Chrono Trigger. And they're like, oh, man, yeah. And they're like, yeah, okay. I was like, let's talk about Mario 64. Or let's talk about Super Mario World. Yeah, okay, we can talk about that. Oh, let's talk about Mario Kart. Yeah, all right. And man, Just Cause 2, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, okay. I'm on. I'm back in. Let's go. So
Yeah.
it's never out of a judgmental, like, I don't look down at my nose at gamers anymore, no matter what they are. If you're a fucking Madden bro, you're a Call of Duty bro, you're still playing games, and to some degree, I give you the nod. But I love and yearn for the conversations where, oh, look, it's so bad. There was a time where me and my wife were out eating somewhere where we're going to go see a movie. I don't remember the movie. It may have been Civil War. I think it was Civil War, actually. We had stopped at a place to eat a couple hours beforehand, and there were some nerds at another table, because I could the clothes they were wearing, and they were talking about comics, and I could hear their conversation. And I'm picking up on, Daredevil. I'm picking up on Marvel. I'm picking up on Wolverine. I'm picking up on Apocalypse. I'm picking up on these different things here and there. And then they start talking about games. Now, mind you, they're about 4 tables away, and they're not really talking loud, but I hear it. And my wife keeps eating, and she keeps looking at me. She's like, "You're listening, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm listening." She's like, I want to go talk to them. She's like, "No, I just want to go. We're about to get done, and I want to go." And I'm like, "You're not going to stop me from talking to people. I'll be friends who I fucking want to. I'm a grown man." And she was like, "No, I know you. If you go over there and you start talking to them, number one, I'm not going to be really involved. But 2, more importantly, we have a movie to catch, and you're going to be there for an hour talking about this shit." I'm like, but talking about games. They're like, really, they're my people. They're really talking about games. She's like, "No, we got a movie to go see." So that's me. I will listen and hear what people are talking about when they're talking about games. And the further they get, the deeper they go, I'm like, "Oh yeah. Oh, I'm just waiting for my jump-in point. Hey, you don't know me, but let's talk about Suikoden 2, because I heard you talking about Suikoden 1. Yeah.
I remember I had this, and it's not really particularly gaming, but it's related to Achievement Hunter, which is essentially gaming at that point.
Yeah.
Because that's the bulk of their content. But I have a Achievement Hunter beanie, so every once in a while I get a comment, about it from a fellow fan. But this one guy, he was in the electronics section at Walmart doing the register. And I went up, I don't remember what I was buying, put my purchase on there. He was checking me out. He's like, "Yeah, nice beanie," and right before I was about to respond, actually start a conversation with this guy.
He reached down and grabbed your cock.
No. This old lady walks up, and no, she didn't either. This old lady walks up and immediately just starts on to the guy about something she needs or something she can't find. Or I was like, "Come on, lady." He's not even completely done with my purchase, and she's already laying into him.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, I guess I'll leave this poor guy to handle this lady and just, miss out on this potential friend.
Have you ever played, and God, I hate to use this phrase, but for lack of, maybe social justice stand-up good guy, white knight, I don't know. Have you ever had a public scenario happen where somebody was being a jackass in public and you stepped in and said something or did something?
Have I?
It doesn't have to be you fucking swooped in and saved the day, but it could be just you being like, "Hey, fuck you." Anytime you intervene with somebody just being a social jackass.
I'm sure there have been a couple of times where I, not so indiscreetly said, a comment like, "What a fucking asshole," or something like that, where, I'm quote-unquote muttering under my breath, but obviously I'm intend for it to be heard, the whole passive-aggressive thing. I know I've done that a couple of times. I don't know if I've specifically spoken up like that.
There was one time for me,
at least not in
recently.
public.
Yeah. I've done it a couple times. I'd have to sit down and remember the other ones, but I do remember one recently. I had to go get a new driver's license. And I'll tell you right now, number one, this is a shout out that's never going to have any relevance, but both the DMV and the driver's license place that I live near, fucking awesome. And when you can say that about a DMV, holy shit, that says something. I don't know about you, bruh, but most of my life experiences in DMV have been fucking horrible. have been bad.
Mine's usually just the weight.
Mine's the weight, the attitude, and the 2 times, especially when I got the fucking motorcycle off you, bruh. Don't even start on the shit I had to go through with that. Oh my God. Let me know. You know what? I'm going to tell that story.
All right.
Help me remember what I was just about to talk about. Oh, the social justice thing.
Yeah.
So I got the motorcycle from you, okay? Mm-hmm. You lived another state from me. Brought the bike over here, and I called the DMV, okay? At the job I worked at the time, I had a 30-minute break, and I had to get it registered in my county. So my job, just because of where I worked and where the DMV was, from where I worked to the DMV was a 36-minute drive. If you just physically could not fucking do this on a lunch break.
Yeah.
But I fucking sucked the dick of my manager or supervisor, and I said, I've got to get my motorcycle registered. Can you please give me an extended lunch or whatever? I'll come in early or I'll leave late. Whatever the fuck you need. I want to get my bike registered. He's like, yeah, okay. He made a big fucking huff and puff about it, but I got it done. Had one fucking day and one shot to do this. Called the DMV. I said, okay, here's the deal. I'm explaining this very fucking easy. I purchased a used motorcycle from a family member. That motorcycle was registered in another state. It is here now in my possession. I need to tag and title, register that motorcycle in my name. Is there any special provisions I need to do because it's out of state? She's like, nope, you bring this, you bring this, you bring this. That's all you need. I said, okay, cool. Hang up the phone. Now, I've dealt with the DMV before, so I called back the next day. Got a different person. I said, here's the scenario. Rinse and repeat. Same thing. They said, yeah, no problem. Bring this, bring this, bring this. That's all you need. No problem. I said, okay. Just so we're clear, by the way, this motorcycle was not registered to him. It is still registered to the person he bought it from. They said, that doesn't matter. All you need is this, this, this. I said, okay. That was 2 times, Chris.
Yeah.
Called back another day. Talked to was supposed to be a fucking supervisor type person just because that's who picked up the phone. Same scenario, same set of questions, same set of fucking parameters. This is all you need. Okay, cool. Got the lunch break, hauled ass. Drove all the way from where I was working to the DMV. Didn't really have too much of a line, and I mean, I'm fucking tapping my foot. Now, again, I did not put this off on fellow people, and I didn't put off on the business, but I was just in a hurry because I knew, I'm already getting pardoned for doing this, and I'm not trying to be, that guy, so I'm just going to get here, get the shit done, and go. Get up to the counter. Hello, I've called up here a few times. I'm just trying to get a motorcycle tagged and registered. Here's the situation, blah, 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 blah. Here's the 1, 2, 3 pieces of paperwork that I've been told by 3 separate people that not only this is what I need, but that's all I need. Here's my driver's license, and anything else you need, and here's my card to pay for it. Let's get this done. And she looks, she goes, Where's your police inspection report? So what the fuck is a police inspection report? Well, see, you purchased this out of state, yes, and it's registered out of state, correct? Yes, it is. Well, since it's out of state, you have to have the local police authorities inspect a motorcycle and make sure that it's not stolen. It is a requirement when you buy something out of state. This is normally done through your dealership, but since you bought it for secondhand, you have to get it done through your local police department. And Chris, and ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, that was one of the few times in life where I was really fucking pissed off. And I was not really acting a dick. I was just being very forward. I was like, okay, can I just stop this whole process? Is there a supervisor here? She's like, yeah, I can get him for you, but he's going to, I was like, please let me talk to him. So he comes up there and I'm like, hey, so I've called up here 3 goddamn times before I came up here. And I told y'all the situation. Whoever I spoke to, do you have names? Fuck you. Of course, no, I don't have the names. Maybe I should have. My fault. Whoever. Moving on. They told me, after I told them the same fucking stipulations, same situation, this is the only 3 paperworks that I need to bring up here and nothing else. I'm here now, and they're telling me I need to have this. Well, yeah, I'm sorry that the 3 different people didn't go with that, but you need to have this. Fuck! I left. So I had to haggle the manager, or the supervisor, again to get another one. He understood and blah, blah. He was a little cooler about it, and I eventually got it situated, but it seems like every other time in my life, aside from where I live now, if I've ever had to go to the DMV for something, it's always been something. And I get that most of the time it does kind of fall back on you as the person. You know, you should research ahead of time. You should know what pieces of paperwork you needed to have. You should know what forms you need to bring, what color ink you should sign, what fuck ever bullshit they give you.
But you did that.
Yeah, but I did that. And every other time it just always feels like they're just happy to tell you, I'm sorry, I can't do that today because you're missing this. When I went to buy my house back in the day, it was go to this place, get this thing done, and this is not a DMV thing, just making a different, these, it's all the fucking same. I go to the place, here's what I need. Actually, you need this. All right, cool. I'll go get that. I get that and come back. Oh yeah, and you also need this. Okay, is there anything else that I need? No. I go back, come back, get another person. Oh yeah, you need these 2 items too. The DMV always feels like that. They feel like that. It always seems like they're just happy to tell you that, oh, I'm so very sorry. You didn't know you need this form. This is the wrong form. This is an outdated form. Motherfucker, I'm in the military. I know about outdated forms. Damn it.
Yeah, I don't. But I'm trying to think if I've ever had a bad experience that wasn't related to wait times, because I've had some ridiculous wait times.
Yeah.
Sitting in there for 2 hours. Or
hey man, you got to switch now. It's okay.
Yeah, now I do. Now I don't care.
Now you're happy to wait.
Yeah. I can't wait to go get maintenance on my vehicle again.
So back to the story that this originated from.
Yeah. Social justice thing.
Yeah, both the DMV and the driver's license facilities that I've had to go to, both. Number one, their wait times are okay, but they're fucking nice. They're polite. They'll let you know what you need. And if you don't have it there, oh, guess what, Chris? There's a fucking internet and they have access to it. Baby, let me go get that for you. If you just give me some information, you write this down right here, I can go look this thing up and go fill this out for you. Hey, thank you.
Awesome.
Fucking rock on. So anyway, I had to go get my license renewed sometime this year. I had to get a new license, let's say that correctly. I sit down, I take my number. I think I had to wait for about 10, 15 minutes. No problem at all. I get to the counter, and again, this is me being an understanding person. That day, their whole entire computer system had upgraded. They had changed all kind of different things. So they were making their way through. Their process was slower. They still knew what they were doing, yeah. But I mean, like you know and I know, you go from Windows 7 to Windows 10. You know, you got things are going to get moved.
We
things
did
are
that
going to get
work
changed.
lately.
Yeah, instead of a 4-step process, you kind of have 7, and you don't know where step 2, 4, and 6 are. Like, I get that. I'm being patient. I'm like, ma'am, I understand. Completely cool. And I could already tell she was already kind of aggravated with it. She had probably had some bad people ahead of her.
Yeah.
Or ahead of me, and plus that, and trying to figure out, you know, they're all coordinating with each other behind the counter. They're all like, you know, where do I go for this? You know, I took the picture, but it's not over here. And I'm like, I'm just listening. I'm cool. I'm fucking, and, you know, I'm so sorry. I'm like, ma'am, I'm cool. I'm good. I'm just waiting. So out of my peripheral, I see a guy come up to the counter. Number one, I'm kind of finicky about people approaching me from the rear. You either get a heel or an elbow or a stern look with a tongue out. I don't know. This guy comes up behind me, swoops to the left of me, to the right of me, and starts feeling. He's like looking over the counter and starts reaching like behind the counter. Starts picking up books and rifling paper. And the lady's like, mind you, I'm assuming these are police officers of some degree. And she's like, sir, can I help you? And he's like, yeah, I'm here to get a book. I'm trying to. She's like, sir, did you take a number? And he's like, do I need a number to get a driving book? She's like, yes, sir, you do. Like everybody else here, there's a line. You have to take a number. And he goes, all right, I just, whatever. She's like, and it'll if you have cash on hand, it'll be $5. And he's like, $5? This used to be free back in the day. And she's like, well, I'm sorry, sir. They cost, and you got to take a number. And he's like, well, y'all are stupid. This used to be free. And that's when I stepped in. I said, says the guy who passed up the big sign at the entrance that said, please take a number, you'll be waited on. And he's like, what do you know? And he left. Everybody's laughing at him. And she was like, what a guy. I was like, yeah. Are you shitting me? So.
I try to be that understanding guy, especially when it's, a computer problem, something beyond their control. I work on computers all day long. I know when my crap doesn't work, it takes forever to get anything done. A 5-minute process is now a 30-minute process. And everyone suffers. The person doing the work is suffering because they want to get people, dealt with, and they don't want to deal with the angry customers and stuff. So they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Look, take your time. I understand." So I do try to be the understanding guy and not jump on someone for something that's beyond their control, obviously.
Yeah. And again, it's not saying I'm just a fucking pushover. I just roll over on me and I'll take whatever. It's just I understand that life happens. I am fortunate in my life that I only have to work one job, and if I'm not at that one job and I'm on my free time, I realize that I'm on my own time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing I'm really going to get home to but play games and hang out with my wife. So if it takes an extra 20 minutes, as long as I understand why it's taking that 20 minutes, that's fine. Now, if I'm seeing people not doing their fucking job, well, fuck that. I may say something. But again, I'm probably going to talk to the manager. I'm going to handle the shit accordingly, Chris, do we have any actuallys from last week?
Nope.
You know of? Oh, what do you know? Man, we're getting good at this.
Yep.
Fucking perfect podcast partners. I like that alliteration too. That was nice. I guess I'll start with my week this time.
All right.
Shit, Chris, I'm about knee deep in games, bruh. I don't know what happened, but I'm knee deep in games. So, off the top, still playing Valkyria Chronicles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm middle way through chapter 13 now, I think. 13 or 14. And man, the story's getting good. Story's getting real good. Like I said the past couple episodes, just for you and for anybody else that listens to this, I think the majority of your enjoyment is going to be from the gameplay. I feel that the draw is going to be the gameplay. I think the charm is Squad 7 and their partnership. Reading all their extra things, seeing their engagements in the interstitials between battles. Those are great. The story itself is a serviceable story. It's not going to blow your mind. The way it's told is very good. But, Mass Effect, this is not, is what I'm getting at. But it's getting to a point now where there's some plot elements coming up, and it's starting to go, oh, they did a little bit of intrigue at around 11 or 12, and I was like, oh, now I'm in. Now I'm interested. I mean, I was already in, but now I'm really interested. Still having a good time with it, still playing it. I'm doing about maybe half a chapter a day or every other day. Same old, same old. I've done a couple more rounds of a robot named Fight. I still haven't beat it yet. I've still been getting my ass kicked. I will beat that game. I will do it. But again, it's an intermediate game for me. It's I'm done with Valkyria. Oh, let's just play something a little less intense, but still fun. I made a couple more levels in Freedom Planet. I'm pretty sure I'm either at the close to the last level of that game or I'm at the very end. But either way, I'm pretty much about to beat that thing. And I think there are multiple characters in that game, so I remember at the beginning of the game you could actually pick between two characters. I picked Lilac, the standard main character, I guess. There was another one. There may be a couple other ones. I don't know. I definitely have to go back through that game. One thing to note about Freedom Planet that I can't make an actual comparison for right now because I have not played Sonic 3 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles in a long time is that the levels in Freedom Planet are long. They're big levels. Like, we're talking, it's going to take you 10 to 12 minutes to get through these levels. That may be what Sonic 3 was like. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's been a while, but you're going to get this is the levels are very meaty. Okay. They're not over in a few minutes. So, still making playthrough with that. I'm going to have to go back to look at this shit real again.
So I meant to ask you last week, but I saw you had played Salt and Sanctuary.
Yes. Okay. So that's another one. I've picked that one back up.
Okay.
I played this. I actually played this for the first time round about the very beginning of these podcasts. I had either just started it or had played it and put it down. It wasn't drawing me. But the fact that it is a Souls-style game, I wanted to come back to it and give it another fair shot.
So, question for you. Did you start playing Salt and Sanctuary because you saw the speedrun?
No. Is there a speedrun?
Yeah, it was at one of the GDQs.
Jesus, there's a speed run of everything.
Yeah.
What am I saying?
Yeah. But yes, it was at a GDQ. That's where I knew the name from. And actually, that's why it's on my list.
Yeah, I had heard about this game just the same way I heard about all other games, just word of mouth, game reviews, gamers talking about it, mainly Two Best Friends, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a 2D Soul-style game. The fact that you put Soul-style in there, I'm in. I knew I was going to play it eventually. The first time I played through this game, I probably put about 5, 6, 7 hours into it. It wasn't catching me, and I don't, and I still feel that right now, to a degree. I don't feel that the Souls style translates to 2D perfectly. It translates well enough.
Yeah.
I don't hate this game. I don't dislike it anymore. I'm going through it now. I finally got into it. I'm finally into it now. I just don't love it. Again, this goes back to the same thing of any other action sword swinging style game. Dark Souls and Bloodborne together, both on opposite ends of their own playing field, are pinnacles for me. And if combat doesn't meet those or beat those, I don't really like it. But I've put a few more hours in Assault and Sanctuary, made a new character, started from the beginning. Beaten, I don't know if you could technically say what progress you are. I mean, I've beaten about 4 bosses now and making my way through. And it's about a 6, about a 7 out of 10. It's good enough. So whatever didn't draw me back in the day, I am drawn to it now, and I'm playing through it. Thanks for reminding me of that, because I was like, I know I'm forgetting some. There's like 7 fucking games I'm playing right now.
Yeah, I've actually, since we started this, made it a habit to pull up your Steam profile, where it shows me what you've recently been playing. So I know I can ask you about something if you don't mention it.
Yeah. I think it's already over. If it's not, it may be still fixing. I can't talk. It may be fixing to end, but the Steam fall sale was just happening.
Yeah.
I picked up. I've been meaning to pick up the Lego Avengers game. No real main reason why. There are several Lego games, and from the trailers I see, from gameplay footage, from reviews, I get a lot of humor in those games, and they're slightly collectathons. Both of those things together make me want to try them out.
I've 100% so many Lego games.
Oh,
it's just
Jesus.
fun to sit down and play, and it's just like, all right, I'm going to 100% it because I'm just enjoying it.
Well, good. That means I can get your opinion then. I've heard that the Lego Avengers is apparently the best one of the bunch.
Let's see, Lego Avengers.
I hope I'm saying that right.
Are you talking about the
Marvels?
Yeah,
Lego Marvel Avengers, maybe?
God, what's it called? It's sitting over on my shelf that I can't see as usual.
Oh, yeah, a physical copy of it? That can't be that old.
Most of them, yeah. Well, it depends who it's bought for. If it's a gift
Lego
for,
Marvel Superheroes.
Yeah.
That's
so
what it's called.
I think that's actually one of the first ones since I've started playing with Lego Batman 2 that I didn't 100%. And that was because I got frustrated with the race mechanics.
Oh, man, you are speaking to me. Oh, you're speaking to me. I can't stand when I'm playing a game and they put fucking racing levels in it. It can be a Mario game. I hate it. Jack and Daxter did it. I think Ratchet and Clank did it. I hate when I'm playing a game and they're like, all right, now you gotta do a racing level. I don't want to fucking race. Stop making me race.
I don't. It was just ridiculous, and I couldn't win any races because the controls were so terrible. I'm like, all right, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do the harder races when I can't even control my way through the easy ones.
Yeah.
So I ended up giving up on that one.
So I picked up that one. I haven't started it yet. That's gonna have to wait. I've got too many going on right now. I also picked up Vanquish, which I do own for the 360 and played on the 360 and beat on the 360s, and I have purchased it again just to have it on my Steam account and have it on my computer. It's got better graphics. It is one of the better Platinum games in my opinion. I love it. It's generic fucking shooter but it's got bullet time effects, so to speak. The way he changes his weapons, like he basically has one weapon that he uses, it just sticks out and he fucking points a gun, and it is an assault rifle, and when he changes it to a shotgun, the gun itself changes to a shotgun. I like his attitude. It has a lot of shooty bang bang robot enemies. I like it. I enjoyed it. So I bought it again and working my way back through that. I think that is the only other game except for one more. Making sure I'm looking. Chris.
Yeah.
Yo ho ho. And a bottle of rum. 16. Holy shit, I like this game, bruh. I am playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag. You hit the nail on the head with this one, buddy.
I told you.
This is good. And let me tell you what. So, let me go ahead and gush about this game for a second. I think I'm only about 10 hours into this game so far. So it shouldn't be spoilery. I don't think I'll spoil much on this. But my outside vision, this is how out of touch I've been with this game. And sorry if y'all hear any noise, my rabbits in the background are going fucking crazy. But I didn't understand exactly how in touch with the pirate theme Black Flag was. For some reason, no explanation. I can give you no backing to this. I just thought it was another like Assassin's Creed 1 or 2, and at times they would go to pirate themed areas, and that was it. Oh no, motherfucker. This is a pirate game.
Yep.
Down to the fucking boards on your ship. Oh man. I love it, man. And I've recently gotten past to the point where I finally got my own boat. Yep. I mean, I guess that's a spoiler for people. You're
Not
a pirate
really.
and you will get your own boat. But I'm going to tell you right now, one of the most cherished things I love about this. This is just a little me thing. It's one little comfort thing that makes me go, fuck yeah, every time I do it. I love getting on my ship, cranking that fucker out to the ocean, and pushing down or pushing right on the D-pad. Hey guys, sing me a tune. And they start singing. They'll sing that was number one. I don't know why that's doing it for me, but I love that. Just being on the open fucking water and hearing your 10, 20 crew members singing a song. Not goofy, not generically, like singing like fucking pirates would do. You start out with like 10 or 15 songs. They randomly pick one. So as of right now, I don't have a lot of repeats. But to make it better, oh man, you can find more. They call them shanties.
Yep.
Out
Sea
in the
shanties.
world, and they add the songs to that roster. So the more you explore in the game, the more you pick up these shanties, the more songs your crew will sing to you. That's one cool thing. Number 2. I park my ship, I get off, I go to land, I go do something. Chris, I get back on my ship, I make my way up to the wheel, and the crew starts clapping and cheering. Yeah, there's our captain, woo! They're happy to see me back on board. Fucking yeah, man. Yes, I love that.
Yep.
The story grabbed me right off the bat. Oh man. Oh. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything. Because I didn't know any of this. I know nothing about this story. And I'm glad I didn't have it spoiled. But the way that you become an assassino, I like it.
Yeah.
It stumbles over itself how good it is at the beginning. I like the battle. I like the on the seas battling. It's fun. It's engaging. I'm getting better at it. That first battle from the get-go was, oh man, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and I was picking up the tutorials at the same time and trying to figure out how to do it, and I won, and I was like, yes, I did it.
Have you started getting upgrades for your ship yet?
I've started to get upgrades. The version that I bought, I had a choice. I could spend $9 and get Black Flag, or I could spend $13 and get the entire fucking deluxe package, which is all the DLC and all the pre-order shit, I guess. So I got, there's fucking costumes that I've got for free. There's cosmetic things for my ship I got for free.
Yeah.
Another thing is, this was out of nowhere. The first time I saw a little fucking sea turtle just wandering across the beach, I was like, that's cool as shit. You know, you typically would see like a fucking toucan or a monkey or whatever, and I was like, there's a fucking ocelot and a sea turtle. Hey, that's nice. I like that. Different, authentic, even, I guess. But yeah, they throw a little bit of Far Cry 3 in there, where you got to go kill enemies and skin them, and you can use their pelts to fucking upgrade your stuff, your holsters, or your gear.
Yeah, that was one of the things, and I didn't actually talk about this with Origins, but I know in Black Flag and a couple of the others, you skin the thing and you actually have this little animation you go through, and then, you know, your screen kind of fades to black for a second, then you go back to your normal whatever you're doing. Origins, they cut that out, and I was so happy about it. Because the materials play a much bigger part in upgrading your stuff. You need so much more of them that if you had to sit there and watch a cutscene every time you picked up something from an animal, I would have lost my mind. Go ahead.
Let's see. What else? Okay, let me talk about the negative things about this game. There's only been one so far for me. It's when I left the fucking game and had to go to the Animus thing.
Yeah.
When they're sticking to this, and I understand it's the story. I mean, if you play Assassin's Creed, you're in a fucking Animus. You're a person in the real world who's recalling memories or whatever. But I'm telling you, as soon as I jacked out of the fucking world and then went to the real world thing, and they were doing the tutorial and giving me my tablet and walking me around, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I want to be done with this. Please stop this shit. And this, again, let me specify here, okay? It's not because they were doing a little tutorial. It's not that they were guiding me around and saying, you know, this is how you do this. And that was not that. It was that was not the game. Right. I give two shits and a fuck about the real world shit going on. I don't care that I'm at some corporation and I'm some intern. I don't fucking care.
You just want to go pirate.
I wanted to get back to that fucking game. So I'm sure there's some overarching plot going on. I'm sure there's a reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, but I don't care. The story that I'm concerned about is my main characters, my main pirates story.
Yeah, and Black Flag, and I think the game after it, Unity. I don't know if Unity was directly after what the order is, but around that time frame, those are the ones that had the worst present day story. So a lot of people felt the same way. It's like, okay, don't care about anything outside the Animus. Let me get back to being a pirate or whatever, you know, for the game.
It's so crazy. And again, my minimal history with Assassin's Creed is playing Assassin's Creed 1 for about an hour and doing the entirety of Assassin's Creed 2 and then maybe about 30 minutes of the third Assassin's Creed. That's all I've got. And when you think of Assassin's Creed, if you don't get to the Black Flag part, if you just hear Assassin's Creed, you know the typical shit. You know, he's got a long kind of cloak jacket type of thing on. He's got the hood and he's got the blades on his arms. That's here. But you're a fucking pirate, okay? You know, you have a crew, you have a quartermaster, you have other pirate friends, you have pirate enemies, you have the militia that's out to get you. You're plundering, you're fucking yo-ho-hoing. I did not realize how much I like the pirate theme. I was thinking about this. I was thinking, why the fuck am I into this so much? I'm just going to say this too. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know one that I've hated. I've watched the first one about 4 or 5 times. I love the second one. I've seen that one probably 10, 15 times. Third one was okay, only about 2 or 3 times. I've seen the fourth one about 4 or 5 times as well. And the new one I've only seen 1 time because I only went and seen it in the theater. But I love the pirate movies. And there is nothing in my life that designates me as a pirate-themed guy lover. Like, you know how when you go to a fucking person's house and they love The Walking Dead and they're really into zombies, they have fucking zombie poster shits on their wall.
Yeah.
They got a little fucking survivor's kit mock-up thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You come to my house, I'm looking in my house, there's nothing pirate-themed. So there's nothing about me that signifies me as, oh, this is right up his alley. This game hits the pirate theme on the head. I mean, really well. Authentic detail level. And it makes it fun. It makes it fun. From what I've heard from the Easy Allies talk about this game is that the game likes to push you around a lot. And I mean that in a positive way. You don't... Like, when I went to... If I remember this right, and stab me in the face if I'm wrong. Please don't stab me in the face. That hurts. In Assassin's Creed 2, when you were in like a general area, you were there for probably a good 5, 6, 7, 8 missions, maybe even more. And then you kind of unlocked more. You kind of expanded the area. That's the general progression of games.
Yes.
This game, from what I hear, is like do 2 or 3 missions, get the fuck on your boat and go somewhere else.
Yep.
Go to a new place. Do a lot of fun seafaring shit, a lot of ocean faring shit. Go to a new place, do 3 or 4 or 5 missions, go somewhere else. Do something, go somewhere else. Do something, go somewhere else. I like that.
And in the middle, you just can sail around the ocean and do whatever you feel like.
Yeah.
Or the sea, whatever it is in the story. I can't quite remember. I think it's an ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever see pirate-themed shit on the generic level, and it's the fucking eye patch and the wooden leg and the arr, yo ho ho, me matey. That's here, but not to that level.
Yeah.
You feel like the authenticity of what they're doing. You know, you feel the time and effort they took into this, which is not uncommon to this studio. You know, they've done this
they do a
before.
great job with it.
Yeah. So, all in all, right now, I mean, the main takeaway from this thing right now is that I am having fun. It is having fun to where it's kind of overshadowing my other games. It's not taking me away. I'm still gonna play the other games. I've been able to do that for a long time. I can play multiple games. But as far as the most fun, like I'll be quite honest, and it's because it's new and fresh, and it's the newer thing right now. I'm having a teeny tiny pinch more fun with Black Flag than I am Valkyria Chronicles. Now, mind you, Valkyria Chronicles are 2 different fucking beasts.
Oh yeah.
You have a strategy style game set around a very, very attractive, charming group of people with a serviceable story and great strategy gameplay, as opposed to be a fucking pirate and go do pirate shit.
Yeah.
So it's not like one is just this is not, I'm not talking about fucking Breath of the Wild versus Mass Effect Andromeda. Okay, we're not talking that level.
Yeah.
But good fucking recommendation, bro.
So happy.
I'm gonna have to keep you in mind for some more recommendations of games. That's really good. I'm enjoying it.
And you know,
and again, I'm planning on doing a lot in this game, but I'm not gonna beat it anytime soon. But I'm working on it.
Yeah, and you know that's why I said what I said about Origins compared to it. You know, Black Flag is just a great all-around game to play.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yep.
That's what I like about it. Like, you can tell that there is this game has a serious underlining theme and tone and story, and I'm talking about the in-game, the pirate story, but it has so much fun wrapped around it. You know, he is a carefree kind of pirate. You know, he's not fucking stern face and I'm gonna murder people, but he will if he has to, because he's an assassino. But the game takes itself seriously, but it's having fun while it's doing it. And I like that. That's a good note for a game to hit, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as my week and reluctantly having to buy another fucking hard drive, that's really about it for me. Chris, what's it been like for you this last week?
So, despite being, out of town for most of it, I actually have other games to talk about. But before I talk about other games, I'm going to talk about the other game, the original games. So, played more Assassin's Creed Origins because they released the next Trial of the Gods. It looks like it's on a every other week rotation. So, loaded it up, checked. Sure enough, there was the quest marker. So I went, fought Sobek, killed him. Very disappointed in the fight. It's just like the first one with a couple different enemies, or a couple different pattern things. Still the same thing. Shoot your arrows at his chest, avoid the enemies, pick up ammo, shoot arrows, repeat. Very boring. Very disappointing too, because they have so much they could do with this. You're fighting gods. Why is this so easy? And sure, I died the first time on the one I was doing because I didn't have the right bow equipped, but I changed, from one bow to another, and all of a sudden I can win pretty much every time, unless I do something stupid and reckless, which I did against Sobek, just testing stuff out. But it's like, okay. But yeah, I loaded up just long enough to do that, and I am still 3 points short on my skill tree, and I had read where somebody was grinding the first Trial of the God fight to get experience because it was so much and it gave you enough money to where you could eventually buy points, with the money, or buy experience with the money rather, which would level you up and get points. But I couldn't do that. There's no way I could sit there and grind through 40 fights per level for 3 levels.
Yeah,
there's just no way. But I did complete it just so I'd, get the next item. And that's part of the set and go towards the completion thing. And then I turned it off. I
like that punctuation. Turn it off.
It's kind of disappointing because Origins is such a technically good game. The design of the game is great. You're talking about the attention to detail that they did on Black Flag. That's present in Origins. You're in a desert. Desert things happen. You hallucinate. I mean, there's an achievement for getting one of the hallucinations as well. So that's something they threw in there. Doesn't do anything gameplay-wise. Doesn't matter at all. But it's an authentic thing. You're out in the desert for long enough. You're going to hallucinate from all the heat and stuff. Because your guy's not sitting there drinking water, or anything. He's just walking around without having to, eat, drink, or shit. So,
yeah.
Yeah, but there's not enough fun things to do in the game as far as why would I just run around and do stuff. Once I run out of objectives, I have no reason, Black Flag, I can hop on my ship and just sail around for a while, and that's fun.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, I like I said before, I think I'm pretty much done with the game other than the Trial of the Gods as they release them every other week. I'll hop on, do that, and then move on with whatever else I'm playing. I made more changes, more updates to my Twitch chat RPG bot thing. Added some traits. I think I talked about them, but I hadn't implemented them yet. Where you kill a certain type of enemy, and then at certain thresholds, you'll do more damage to that type of enemy. You become more proficient at killing that enemy. And it certainly helped with the balance, because some things are ridiculously hard at this point unless you have that bonus. And I also added gathering, so you can now mine, log, and forage.
Nice.
Minor changes, but stuff, after I played Assassin's Creed the other day, I was like, all right, I want to do something. I was like, I want to code something. I want to do some change to my game, and I had done most of the framework for both of those features. So I was like, all right, I'll do this. And I didn't really play anything else before heading out of town. And like I said, I bought the Switch at Walmart on Friday. And Super Mario Odyssey was the first thing I played.
I guess we should, not to interrupt you, but I totally forgot we did just have a holiday. I guess real quick for mine, unfortunately for me, we're talking about Thanksgiving, 2017. Unfortunately, my wife worked that night, so I did spend it here at the house playing games. Oh, woe is me. But, oh, man. My wife, I love her to death. This woman can cook. I'm telling you, Chris, this is one of those weird people that can just go in anybody's cabinet and just pick shit out and just make you a fucking 5-star meal. It blows my mind. She just makes stuff. But we had the discussion beforehand, before Thanksgiving. We had a big ham. I'm not a huge fan of turkey. I'm sure somebody's going to blow my mind with how good their mothers or friends' cooking is, but turkey always dries out for me too easily. I don't hate turkey. I prefer ham, because ham is always juicy, and they always make it sweet and honey, and you know I'm anything fucking sweet. So she had a big ham, like an 11-pound ham. She's going to cook that, and she's asked me what else I wanted. I'm like, well, I don't really eat a lot. I typically don't eat a ton. I'll eat a little bit multiple times throughout the day, but in general, I don't have I'm the kind of person that goes to a buffet and I feel like I didn't eat enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I paid $10 for a buffet and I feel like I may have eat like $3 worth. I'll eat a little bit. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't know, baby. You can cook whatever you want. It's just gonna be me, and we'll have leftovers for a while. But so I come home, holy shit! Woman cooked a whole fucking 11-pound ham. Made a pan of green bean casserole, made a pan of green cabbage and bacon, made a pan of mashed potatoes and gravy, made a pan of cornbread, and I know I'm forgetting something. There's got to be something else. She made like 5 or 6 or 7 different large courses of meals. I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to eat this? I'm like, you know what I eat. She was so proud. She just fucking holding her head up.
Yeah.
So we did have leftovers for a while. I did get to go to her family's place. I got to see the family there. I got to get some food. I got to try some spice cake. Spice cake with some white icing. Oh, it's fucking delicious. But I was off work and my wife was at work, so I just spent most of the day eating Thanksgiving food and leftovers and playing games. So that was about it for me.
Yeah, we didn't do a whole lot. Just hanging out. It was just another holiday.
Well, y'all said you went out of town though, right?
Yeah.
So you just hung out with family and stuff,
yeah.
I assume.
Yeah, that's all we did. And like I said, Friday we went to Walmart where I grabbed the Switch while we were out. And I did that for the rest of the day, and then we drove back Saturday.
Gotcha. Which rolls into you saying you're going to talk about Mario Odyssey.
Oh, I'm sorry. I made paper airplanes.
Called out. I heard that call out.
Yeah. The kids have a paper airplane book. It's not what I was expecting, because when I think a book about paper airplanes, I'm thinking, tons of designs, different styles. But really, there's 4 styles, and they just had different patterns on the paper, or 5 styles, something like that. Anyway, but yes, I made paper airplanes. Okay. Now I can move on to games. So, yeah, Super Mario Odyssey. Great game.
What do you know? A Mario game?
Yeah, I know, right? And I talked before about how I was supposed to scratch that Mario 64 itch, and I think it does a good job of that. I was actually thinking about it when I was thinking about that style of game, and I was thinking about, well, technically you have the Galaxy games that are, the 3D Mario, but I don't know what it is about. I think I might actually have to go back and load them up to play them and, fill the controls again. But it just I didn't make that connection with those. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's that I wasn't consciously thinking about it at the time, like I was this time going into Odyssey. But it definitely gave me that, Mario 64 feel.
As somebody who completed or 100%ed both of those games, yeah, I'd recommend you go back and give them a shot. Yeah. To me, their only downfalls, again, this is a racing break-off thing, was, and I hope I got this right, in the first, I don't remember which one it was, and I should. There's a racing style level in one of them where you're riding on top of a manta ray. There's like a level where the water's floating up midair. I didn't like that because it's racing themed. There's one of the I'm pretty sure it's the second one where it has a fucking bird that you have to fly. You have to fly him through specific things, and if he hits something, he dies or something. I fucking hated those. But past those games are great.
I mean, I have nothing against the games. It just didn't remind me of 64. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I beat the first one. I don't know if I actually beat the second one. I know I've played both. I know I beat the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't remember where I left off on the second one. But anyway, so Odyssey, good game. I've beat the stories already, which it was kind of short, but even though okay, so I'm trying to think how many hours. 10 hours. Let's see. Friday I probably played for a good 4 or 5 hours. And then Sunday I played and I beat it on Monday.
Wow.
Or no, I beat it on Sunday. Because Monday I jumped into the next game. So I beat it on Sunday. So I only probably spent 12 hours on it total.
Wow.
And that was not just going straight through the game. I actually got a lot of side stuff. If I'm not mistaken, the minimum number of moons, which are the equivalent of stars in this game, the minimum number of moons to beat the game is like 120, I think.
Standard, sounds about right.
And I'm up to 200 and something. So I've done side stuff.
Let me take that back. Let me do my own well actually before I get hounded. Super Mario 64 had 120 stars total.
Yes.
I think the minimum to get to Bowser's final castle was 90?
70.
70? Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, at least that's
See
what
that,
the
Chris?
speedrun does.
We well actually inside the own podcast.
Yeah, that's why we don't do it at the beginning, because we don't need to anymore. We've already
We
handled
don't need
it.
to. We're just so good. We're so good. We're never wrong. We're never wrong.
So I've made pretty good progress. I've got, my 200 and some odd moons. Are you aware of how many there are total?
No, listen, the more I hear about this game, I keep hearing an increased total. The first time I heard about this game, there was there's like 350 moons, and you only need like 100 or so to get through the main game. I was like, okay. And then Giant Bomb started talking. That's like 500 moons. I'm like, all right. Somebody else, there's like 650, 700 moons. I don't know.
There are 999.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So me with my great progress I've made, I'm at 200 and something.
Don't you feel good?
So I will go back to it and, work on getting more moons. I did get a little impatient towards the end. I was like, I know I'm near the end, so I won't spend a lot of time looking at stuff on the side. So I'll just go ahead and beat the game and then come back to it, because there's some stuff you don't unlock until after you've beat the game. So I think you can only get 800 of them on your first playthrough if you did absolutely everything. And then you unlock some sort of hard mode, where you can then get the rest. Or something like that. I don't know the exact mechanics because I didn't want to get too many spoilers. Even though it's really, Mario games and spoilers are kind of not really a big deal to me.
Kinda, yes and no. And it's mainly, that goes to Zelda Breath of the Wild too, and that's because of the way these new games are. Mm-hmm. Because you may say something like, I learned this new trick in Mario Odyssey. If you click this, press this, do this, he does this trick. That will actually spoil something for somebody because they want to find that on their own.
Yeah.
Same thing with Breath of the Wild. That's why I hated talking about Breath of the Wild. I fucking hated it because I'm like, I don't want to tell you anything because you can watch me play for 2 minutes and I'll have spoiled things for you. You will never get this. This will be nothing that you will. I feel like Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild both are experience games. They need to be experience. You need to, here's the game. Take it home and go experience on your own.
Yeah, I will say that I probably had an advantage going into the game because I did watch parts of speedruns. I didn't watch the whole thing because, again, I didn't want too many spoilers. But I had seen some of the movement they did for the speedrun, and I did that in my run, and it made things so much easier. And it only somewhat gives you this information about these other moves, combinations of moves you can do. Yeah. And most of your hints come when you're going between worlds, because considering how few worlds there are, which I don't know the exact number, but you don't see those hints often, unless you're going back and forth between worlds often, which I don't do. I spend my time on one world. I'm pretty much done with it as far as how much effort I'm willing to put into it at the moment. And then I move on. I don't come back to it. I'm just not doing that after beating the game, I say that, but I haven't even gone back yet because there's another thing after the end of the game you can do first.
Right.
So I haven't even gone back yet, but you get these hints in between, and it's random.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even like, oh, we're going to progressively tell you more complicated maneuvers or more complicated moves you can do. Sure, you can do your running jump, traditional Mario 64 type running jump thing. I didn't get the hint about that till I was almost done with the game. And that's a very basic thing, and I didn't really need it because of other techniques I was using. But I'm sure I could have used it to speed up some stuff. So it's kind of one of those, okay, explore the buttons, see what they do. And I will say I have one annoyance with the controls because the ground pound and the dive are on the same buttons. It just depends when you press them. And it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I don't like that because ground pound is a pretty staple move for him since 64.
Yeah, I mean, and the ground pound is, I don't care about the ground pound part. It's the dive that's important to me. So when I'm going to dive because I need to go fast because I'm on a timer, it's a timed little moon thing where you have to get all these little icons before the timer stops beeping at you. I need to move. I don't have time to have my character stop midair, ground pound, and then, 3 seconds later I can move again. That's 3 seconds I lost on this timed moon, and now I've just lost it because of that accidental ground pound. So yeah, the controls leave a fair bit to be desired, in my opinion. And this was the game where I played it without the fake controller arm things to put the controllers in to make it more comfortable. So,
talking on movesets, that is one thing that I've heard a lot about this game as well. Not only are there lots of moons, but I hear that he has a huge moveset. There are lots of different techniques and lots of different moves.
So another annoyance I have with these is there are moves that you can only do with motion controls.
Oh, no. I don't like it.
And when you have the controllers on the side of the Switch screen, you can't do that. You're going to shake around the screen. You can't see what you're looking at anymore, and it usually isn't enough of a shake to recognize it for the move.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there like, all right, I will shake this because I really need this move right now, and nothing happens. Because I don't want to shake my screen too hard because I'm trying to play this stupid game.
Yeah, you stupid game.
So yeah, that's been very frustrating. But since I have it on the controller arms, I will actually shake it a little bit for certain parts. Like, it will actually speed up when you're climbing. So it's like, oh great, I get a boost when I shake the stupid controller, which I hate motion controls for stuff like this.
Same way, man. I think that adds to what I was trying to get at when I was talking about Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Anything that does motion control specific, I don't like it. That was one of the things that thankfully I got over that and found a control scheme where I didn't have to do it, but, or maybe you still have to do it. I don't remember. But in Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Wii, oh man, they were like, yeah, you got a fucking motion control to roll or something. I was like, no, no, thank you. Maybe it was to ground pound.
And there's actually a setting where you disable motion controls or something like that, and it didn't do anything. I'm like, what did this option do? Because I'm going through the settings, looking at stuff, and it said, disable something motion related. I was like, great. Okay, cool. Give me alternative button scheme. I'll relearn everything. I don't care. Just get rid of the motion controls. Let me do my trolley hat move, which I can't do. You can do it with the controller, but it's very hit and miss. If you're moving, and I haven't actually done it with the controller, the movement, the motion, but I imagine it's much easier to do then because it's recognizing the pattern you're trolling it in, whereas opposed to moving the joystick in the very specific rhythm and speed and everything to get it just right for it to do the move. I've done it like 3 times in the game.
Wow.
I will say that the motion controls, you can get through the game without using them once. There are certain moons, though, that there's at least one that I can think of offhand where I do not think it is literally possible without motion controls being able to climb something faster. Everything else I've been able to do without. So it's one of those things that's annoying, yes, but it's not stopping me from playing the game. It's just making me have to do alternative methods or be way harder than it should be because it was designed around motion controls.
Yeah. I guess I could let 1 or 2 moons requirements go, but still, I'm of the opinion that if you're going to have motion controls in your game, it needs to be a standard that there needs to be a way to have it where it's not mandatory. Yeah. And just like you said, an alternate control scheme, get it another way, I don't care. If there is a level that says, here is level 17, it is required that you do motion control, needs to be a way to not have to do that. Even if you have a whole fucking level designed around it, needs to be a way to not, because I don't like it. And I don't like you forcing it on me. And I'm not going to like it. The more that you force it on me, the more I'm not going to like it when I keep having to do it. I'll do it, though. I mean, I fucking did it in Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2. Like I said, I 100% in both of those games, so I did everything that had to be done. I just didn't like it. You know, it's when I get to a level and that fucking motion thing pops up, I immediately go, all right, what the fuck do I got to do in this level? Gotta fucking waggle the bird. Come on, bird, let's waggle. Yay. I'm thinking somewhere there's a marketing team that's going, yeah, kids will love it. And there's a fucking kid on his couch just fucking doing backflips. I love motion control.
Yeah, I
fuck you, kid. You're ruining it for everybody.
I didn't really have a huge issue with motion control on the Wii. That's kind of what I expected. But on the Switch, with a device you're going to be, at least for some people, primarily holding with the controllers attached to it, it's not viable.
Shaking screen motion control. Yeah. Just how you like it.
Oh, man.
I tell you what. This is a good opportunity to talk about the future of where Nintendo's going. Not as a topic, but just in general. I think now, with the Switch being as popular as it is, with it having 2 pillar games on it, and I know there's more coming, just bear with me on this statement I'm making. You got Breath of the Wild that kicked the fucking door open, kicked the door wide open, kicked the door off its hinges, and said, come at me, bro. You got Breath of the Wild, and now you have Mario Odyssey. These are 2 Nintendo pillars. These are 2 staple franchises in the Nintendo's household. This is a golden opportunity for them to do the other franchises on the Switch as well, and if they can do them right, oh man, it'd be so great. Yeah. They need to bring Star Fox back, because I have not played it yet, but I hear Star Fox Zero did not sit well with anybody. Anybody. Because, it had mandatory motion control shit in it.
Now, I think what'll sell a lot of Switches is when they bring a actual main line Pokemon game to it.
Yeah, there you go. There's another one. Pokemon. These would be a Switch-themed Pokemon and have it done exceptionally well. If they could take this console and bring a lot of their big powerhouses back, and I'm not saying that it's gonna do anything more for them, because in my opinion, Nintendo's already up there. They're already up at the top echelon. But a console today that has a great Zelda, not a great Zelda, a great Mario, a great Pokemon, a great Star Fox. Go ahead and get Retro, whoever was doing Donkey Kong, get another Donkey Kong Country back into it. Yeah. Get another Kirby back into it. And I mean a good Kirby, not a fucking forgettable, just do it by the numbers Kirby. This is a time for them to get all their core franchises back and put them where the fuck they belong. Metroid, bingo, another fucking Metroid. I know
that's
Metroid
on the
Prime,
way, isn't it?
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4 is on the way, and yes, the Metroid remake, Metroid 2 remake was good, but I'm up and down about it, because Mario Odyssey is not in a it's not in a timeline. It's not a sequel. Breath of the Wild is not in a timeline. It's not in a sequel. Right. Metroid Prime is supposed to be Metroid Prime 4, so that's not really standalone. They need to have a...
Now,
but then again, hey, I like Metroid Primes. I love Metroid Prime 1, so I'm not saying they need to deviate from the Prime thing and just make a different style Metroid, but
now,
I wish it was a Metroid that was a standalone and not a continuation of a Prime story.
Now, forgive me my ignorance on Metroid lore, but are they really that I don't see them as being games where you really should go back and play them in order to understand what's going on or anything like that. Is that?
Are you talking about the Prime ones?
Yes, specifically the Primes.
Here's the thing. Metroid Prime 1 has its own story. It doesn't really involve the Metroids prior.
Mm-hmm.
It starts fresh, so to speak. Metroid Prime 2 takes place with a whole different world, a whole different... It centers around this other race, so to speak.
Yeah.
But the main story comes back into play at the very end of the game, if I remember right. Oh boy, here we go. I have played Metroid Prime 3 twice. Both times I have quit that game about 2 or 3 hours or 4 or 5 hours into it. It's got the motion, I just can't get the motion control shit. It's just not for me. And that's gonna kill people's soul, what I just said. Because from what I hear, in everybody's opinion, the motion control way playing Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3, because I think they released it on the Wii U later as a remastered version where it's just the motion control, is the superior way and the best way to play those games. I didn't like Prime 3. I didn't like it for the characters they put in. I didn't like it for the controls. Not saying it's a horrible game. I made it a decent way through that game at the second playthrough, but I have played Prime 1. Number 1, I played it. I did the maximum I could. I think I beat that game at 230 something with 100% on hard. I played Prime probably 6, 7, 8 times. I played Prime 2 about 3 or 4 times. I cannot make it through Prime 3. So I don't know where the continuation of that story goes. Okay. I think it picks back up. They're kinda standalone, but kinda not. I think it would be better for you to play all 3 in a row. And not only, especially because Prime 1 is such a good game. You know, you're not missing out. You're missing out if you're not playing that game just on principle. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe they could take Metroid Prime 2's idea and put it on 4. Maybe it's going to take place in a whole different area, and it's going to kind of sort of tie into Metroid Prime story. You know, who knows? But we'll see. We will see. I really hope that the Switch, which is going to be around for a while, I hope all the big guns come out. Because we're not... I mean, we haven't talked about, I'm assuming there's an Animal Crossing coming. I've heard about that. Maybe a Pikmin. I think I heard about a Pikmin coming. I hope I'm not wrong. There's a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 coming out, which everybody's going to... So, I mean, yes, there are going to be a bunch of great games. I'm not saying that it has to be just the main canons, but it needs, I want it to be. I want all the big crew to come back on the Switch and have really just fucking 9.5, 9, 10 out of 10 games.
Yeah, I think this is the time for them to do it. I mean, the Switch is a really interesting piece of hardware with how they've combined a fairly traditional console approach to portability, to make it portable. And that's just, I mean, that's how I, just one of the reasons I bought it, even though there are 2 games I care about playing on it. Breath of the Wild I have on Wii U, so I'm not going to rebuy it.
Me neither. I've made that decision.
Yeah.
And I'm not, you know what? I'm not missing out.
Yeah, I mean, I went through so here's another thing I wanted to talk about on the Switch, and I just remembered it. I actually was bad and didn't write this one down to talk about. But I actually went through Amazon looking at games for the Switch to see, okay, what else would I possibly want to play? And it was rather disappointing. But then I kept paging through, and I kept seeing a lot of, Japanese only. And they were games that I would probably play. One of them was related to Secret of Mana. I think it was a kind of remaster set thing. I don't know if it's actually remastered or just a re-release of certain games. But it looked interesting. Old school RPGs? Sure, sign me up. What else was there? There was something else that I saw that was also Japanese only, and I was like, well, these are two games I would buy and play right now, but I don't read Japanese, so I'm not gonna buy them. So it's. I thought we were over this. I'm sure I know there's some games that come out in Japan. There's tons of games that come out in Japan we never hear about, but they're usually not games that we care about or they would have released over here. But I thought we were past these days where games that people actually play around the world are still only coming out in Japan. It's I don't understand why they would go back to that.
I don't
not
know
for
either.
Games and series I've heard of.
It's got to be still a fucking money thing. And it's got to be so that it's apparently games just need to make millions and millions of dollars. Potentially have to be able to make millions of dollars for people to care about it. Because there's also logistics into it. Yeah. Let's not forget. There's also translation. There's also
the
rewriting because
and all that,
Japanese things.
Rights.
Yeah, Japanese, nuances and phrases. Not everything translates to English properly and vice versa. So blah, blah, blah. I get all that, but I think that should play more to the text-heavy games. If a game is not a RPG, which is mainly text or mainly narrative, if it's a action, if it's an adventure that has minimal, y'all can do that. Y'all can get that done. I just feel it still comes all down to money, and our voices are not big enough. Hell, I think Earthbound ran into this back in the day. Not like the original Earthbound. Maybe it was a Mother. They signed some big petition to get it brought over here, and it didn't. I don't know. Somebody research it and let me know, or just tell me about it if you know about it. I'm sure there are a lot of Earthbound fans out there, a lot of Mother fans. Sorry, but it's just another problem that we still have to this day, and I agree with you 100%. To me, that rivals the problem of the two big issues that I can't stand that go on to this day. One is the translation and bringing either bringing games over here or bringing games over from here to over there. But two, Chris, explain this shit to me. Explain to me to where it makes sense that in 2017, every single game released does not have a customized controls the way you want to.
Yeah.
That should be a staple for every game. I do not care what game it is. I'm sure there's ones that could have some kind of reason behind it, but it makes, especially on PC, every single game, control option A, control option B, control option C, customize. Map it the fucking way you want to.
Yeah.
I don't know. These are two things that I just don't understand, and I guess we're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Chris, you think that was it for your week?
No, actually, it's not.
Oh, hell yeah, here we go.
So, there were two games I mentioned that were the reason I wanted to switch. The first was Super Mario Odyssey. Or actually, I should say the second, because the first, in order of release, was Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Really?
Now, have you played XCOM? Or you know anything about it?
I know little to nothing about it. There's even I think Two Best Friends have a playthrough, and I didn't really care for it.
So I care for it as in not watching it, or you watch it and then turned it off, or something like that?
I'm just gonna wipe the whole slate clean because I don't remember anything about it, and I haven't had it in my hands, nor have I played it to make my own judgment. So I am completely ignorant to it all.
So XCOM is a turn-based strategy game where you're controlling your individual units, I don't know what they actually call them, your soldiers, and you're fighting aliens. That's the whole thing, extraterrestrial combat unit or whatever you are. That's the premise of the game. So you have basically tiles, they're not visible tiles, they're they're there type tiles. But it's a tile-based strategy game. You position your troops, you shoot based on your line of sight, distance, perks, character stats, etc. You have variable hit percentages. You have abilities, different types of ammo, all these, nuances to make this game a extremely complicated and often overly difficult game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I love XCOM. I've played 1 and 2 and the associated DLCs. I beat XCOM 1. I still have to finish XCOM 2. I just got frustrated with it because it was so hard. And that's what XCOM is known for, is there's actually a phrase that was coined, getting XCOM'd, because you expect something to happen and then it just all goes to shit. And that's getting XCOM'd. You have a 99% chance to hit, you miss, you got XCOM'd. Your point blank range, the enemy's literally on the tile next to you, you shoot them with a shotgun, you shoot behind you or something, you completely miss. XCOM'd. Wow. So, that...
Where did that originate in this game?
I mean, that's where the phrase came from, getting XCOM, because you just... And, you'll die from your guy getting mind controlled or whatever, panicking, throwing a grenade at your own people or something, something to end up ruining your game, your day, your playthrough, your life, whatever, That's XCOM.
Right. Gotcha.
And that's on normal difficulty.
Wow.
I'm not one of those crazies that will ratchet it up to legendary. And then playing through it on Iron Man where you don't have saves, because it's one of those games that people will save scum. I've done it before, and sometimes I don't have an issue with it because it's so utterly ridiculous how bad it can get.
Wow.
But so I love XCOM, the strategy game, even though it's super hard. I enjoyed the gameplay of it. The story is what it is. It's not bad, but it's not, mind-blowing. So when I saw Mario plus Rabbids, I was like, all right, first off, Mario, great. Rabbids, hilarious. I'm not sure if you played any of the old Rabbids games on the Wii or anything like that.
No.
I have one of them, and it's kind of a party game type thing where you have all the mini games from like a Mario Party or something, but they're Rabbid themes, which Rabbids are, the minions from Despicable Me?
Yeah.
Think of them.
They're basically,
And, kind of crazier, often more, I don't want to say adultish humor, but more advanced humor. Not quite as childish as minions are. But they don't, have real voices. They just make their noises and stuff and do funny gags. Hilarious. Love the Rabbids thing in general. So it's like, all right, Mario plus Rabbids? All right, I'm sold. Oh, by the way, this is a tile-based strategy game like XCOM. Okay. I'm gonna buy it. So I did. And I'm enjoying it. It definitely simplifies the whole strategy aspect as far as...
Of course, it's Nintendo Mario. It's going to do that.
But as far as, like your hits, you have 3 percentages you can have to hit. 0, 50, and 100. There's no in between. You have a chance to crit, which is another percentage, which is, 10, 20, etc. But if they're behind full cover, you have a 0% chance. If they're behind half cover, 50% chance. If they're out in the open, you are going to hit them.
Yeah.
It's not like XCOM where the person's literally next to you and you have a chance to miss. And you often will. So, and on top of the percentages, and XCOM has destructible cover too, but you still on Mario plus Rabbids have a purpose of shooting at someone behind cover because you will destroy that cover after enough hits. So someone's across the map and you have you have 3 people on your team. If you have all 3 of your attacks, I believe it's 3 typically to destroy the cover. I think some weapons do more damage to cover than others, but I haven't really noticed a difference between characters. So you can generally knock out the cover in 3 hits, I believe it is. And then they're open the next turn, but it's sometimes worth it because usually then your turn's over and they just move to a different cover, so have you really accomplished anything? But it could be the difference between them being behind full cover and being being in half cover, so you at least have a 50% chance. There are unbreakable covers, like there'll be metal blocks and stuff on the field that you cannot destroy. but it still has a high level of strategy required for certain things. There are, based on what the game tells you, there are 4 worlds in the game, and I believe there are 10 stages per world. There are 10 fights per world as far as the base story. But once you complete an area, then it unlocks more stuff in that same area. So it unlocks challenges, and then there's a secret area which has more fights, much more difficult fights. As in, I don't think I should be there yet fights. Because you can upgrade your characters. You start out with Mario, Rabid Luigi, and Rabid Peach. Those are your characters. They have different weapons, different abilities. So one of the things I like about it is you have 3 actions you can do every turn. You can either use your weapon, move, or use an ability. You can do all 3. So that's an and. You attack, and you move, and you use an ability. And you can do them in any order you want to. So you can shoot and then move, or you can move and then shoot. Which, it sounds like something like, okay, why is that a big deal? Well, XCOM, you typically, once you shoot, you cannot move. Because the shooting takes 2 actions. And the move only takes 1 unless you have perks and blah, 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 blah. So having that freedom to choose, okay, I want to attack then move, or move then attack. And they have this whole mechanic where you jump off your teammate's head to go even further. I say jump off their head, but they usually actually do an animation where they're boosting you up into the air. It's not like literally jumping on their heads, Mario style. That's reserved for the enemies. So it completely adds a whole nother layer of dynamics to the battlefield strategy. Because like, oh, no longer am I walking in this sort of straight line to the areas I need to be at, or this path. If there's higher ground, I can, instead of walking around, up the path, I can have someone boost me up and jump onto the higher ground from directly next to it. So I've now gained the high ground, which you do more damage from high ground, and all this, and your strategy is completely, it adds another dimension to it,
Right.
So it's really fun. It's certainly a nice change from an actual XCOM game, but still maintaining some of that fun gameplay with a turn-based strategy. I finished the first world. I haven't even progressed to the next one because I'm working through all the challenges on the first one before I do so. But I'm enjoying it.
And I'll tell you this, even if I was against, I will say this to people that are not in the same boat as me. If you are against XCOM, if it wasn't your bag of whatever, Nintendo has a long history of making fun games regardless.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you give them a property, they're going to Nintendoize it whatever way they choose, and they're going to make it fun. Now, there are exceptions to the rule, like maybe Mario and Sonic Olympic games aren't that great. I don't know. I'm not an Olympic game fan. I don't know. But I bet you damn well they tried.
Yeah.
They're known for doing this. They're known for taking property. They do the opposite of what EA does. That's a jab right there.
Oh, yeah.
Topical jab.
Yeah, but truth hurts sometimes,
It certainly does. Certainly does. I'm glad Nintendo stepped in.
But I will agree wholeheartedly that whatever your feelings are on XCOM, give it a try. Unless you literally don't like the genre of turn-based strategy. I mean, any of the reasons you probably didn't like XCOM probably are a non-factor with this.
Do the Rabbids factor of this game work for you? Are they doing it for you?
So I was a little curious about how. So when I went into this, my expectations were they just threw Rabbids into Mario and you're just running around doing something, There's actually a plot behind how the Rabbids got here with Mario. I was like, okay, there's an actual plot here. I'm not just running around killing bad guys to, save a princess, like traditional Mario games, I actually have a completely different objective that the princess may or may not tie into. I have no idea at this point.
Would it be a spoilery thing for you to tell why they're together?
No, I don't think so. It's an intro cutscene.
Oh, well.
It's just the surprise of it, really, is the only thing that you'll lose out on. So,
Yeah. I mean, we can leave it. It's fine.
I mean, I'll go ahead and tell you about it, because I want to kind of see your reaction to it anyway.
Okay.
So, spoilers for the first minute of Mario plus Rabbids.
You've been warned.
So the intro cutscene is with a human person sitting at their computer, and they just got back from some conference or whatever they were at, demonstrating this piece of technology they created, which when they look like a pair of VR goggles. So at first when she was like, oh, they don't appreciate or see the uses of our device we've created, she puts on VR goggles. Or she, I can't remember. I think it's a she. They put on VR goggles. I'm like, okay, VR. That's where we're going with. That's the virtual Mario plus Rabbids thing. Okay, got it. That's not it at all. These goggles are actually a device that will combine two objects. So I think the example they use in the cutscene, as she's describing to her little AI assistant that is inside the goggles, it's the computer AI thing, assistant, your Cortana for it.
Yeah.
She combines a teddy bear with springs, so it has springs for legs. Okay.
Okay.
So she gets up, walks out of the room after, the headset's having some issues. It has overheating issues or something like that. So she's like, all right, we still gotta work out these. Drat, puts them down, walks out of the room. Well, all of a sudden in the middle, and it looks kind of like a garage with the layout, all of a sudden in the middle of this floor, a washing machine appears. And it has Rabbids in it. Apparently this is the Rabbids time travel machine / washing machine.
Oh.
So, okay. It's
Okay.
Rabbids.
Sure.
I'm surprised and not surprised at the same time, It's like, all right, yeah, sure. It's not beyond what I'd expect from them. And so the person who made the device is a fan of Mario. There's posters up, there's plushy toys, things like this. So the Rabbids start going crazy, as they do. They start tearing up the place, and one of them puts the goggles on, starts combining stuff, and then something happens to the washing machine as part of this, so they all get sucked back in. All the Rabbids do. And with them go some of the Mario posters and stuff. So all of a sudden, this time machine is malfunctioning and warps them into the Mushroom Kingdom.
Gotcha.
So we're now in the Mario world, and there's some portal thing open, and all this stuff is going on, and the Rabbid with the goggles on still has them on, and he's combining things, and some of them are harmless, and actually help you and whatnot. But other ones, bad Rabbids things are being combined with Rabbids, and it's turning them bad. And that's how you get your enemies and then your bosses, is they're combined with something.
Yeah.
Like one of the bosses, and it's not a big boss, it's just one of the mid bosses, is a piranha plant combined with a Rabbid. So it spits fireballs and stuff like that and looks like a big piranha plant that's walking around on its roots. So that's the overall premise of the game, and your whole objective is, to fix this.
Right.
So you're going through with the help of the non-bad Rabbids to stop the bad Rabbids.
Generally from what I've heard about this game from XCOM and non-XCOM people alike, I'm just keep throwing that out there because I've heard people mention XCOM a lot in reference to this game, is that, it's fun. And I'm not surprised by that at all. Again, I'm not trying to repeat myself, just saying that I know Nintendo's good for that. I know they're good for taking things in. They're the company that they can go, hey, tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna take Metroid. And they're like, all right, cool. We're in the mood for a new Metroid game. Yeah, we're gonna change it up a little bit though. We're gonna make it a first-person shooter. What? Because that was me back in the day. I was like, I don't know about this, and it was good. Now, mind you, I don't think that was strictly Nintendo. I think that was Retro Studios. I don't think I'll give Nintendo the proper credit for that one. But the point I'm making is this is just another example. You have an outside source where people are telling you, "Hey, guess what? We're taking Mario. All right, we're taking Rabbids. Okay, sure." And they put them together, and they give you fun.
Yeah.
So yes, good.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying the game. The only other thing I wanted to mention about the Switch was, have you seen the games?
I haven't, but because my Switch fever dropped off after I finally got my own Wii U and got Breath of the Wild for the Wii U, so I haven't strictly been following the games. Not really.
Yeah. So you know the DS games, they're like little the cartridge.
Teeny,
yeah.
Oh yeah, little tiny.
The Switch things are even smaller and look just like SD cards.
What?
Yeah. They're basically SD cards, is what I think. I mean, I imagine it's probably it's pretty close to similar technology, and it's just a SD card.
Wow.
You know, get an 8 gig SD card,
crazy.
throw a game on there, and then make it compatible with whatever proprietary Nintendo stuff, and you've got a Switch game.
I misinterpreted the question. I thought you meant like, have I looked at like the titles? Like,
Oh,
the
no,
titles
I meant the
of games.
physical.
No, you meant the actual. Have you
Yeah.
seen the games? No, that's crazy.
Yeah, I noticed the case of them was smaller than the others, and I was like, okay, you know, that's the GameCube had the really tiny discs or whatever. Yeah, GameCube had tiny discs. Not surprising that they do something else like that. But yeah, they're actually little SD cards. Which was another reason I was really glad I decided to go digital, because those things are so annoying. Yeah, and when those don't read, there's nothing you can do about it, pretty much.
Yeah. Anything else for your week, Chris?
No, I don't think so.
I think I had something else, but I have forgotten it.
Okay.
Either way, I think Black Flag kind of took over. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we will roll right into our topic, our last bit of talking for tonight. Tonight's topic is going to be kind of a brief one, so to speak, and not really a point-driven topic. More just us reminiscing and blabbing about. We're going to be talking about video game peripherals. These have been around for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
They've been around in my lifetime. They've been around since the Atari 2600. But of course, as long as consoles have been around, damn near, we've had peripherals.
All right, so I want to open this up with another question, just like I did last week. So, what is your favorite peripheral that you've personally owned?
I wish I had a more flashy wham bam answer for people, but I'm gonna say that there's one and I'm gonna say this one because I used it the most, and I've had other ones like this that all revolve around the same theme. I have to this day a Mad Catz, boo, hey, whatever. It was Mad Catz. They were good back in the day. I have a Mad Catz turbo controller for the PlayStation 1. It had the select start, it had a reset, turbo, and slow button, all on the same controller. And it was the type to where I hold the actual turbo button down, and then I press whatever button I want to go turbo, turns on turbo. I push reset, do the same thing, it takes it off. I love that thing. I've had it forever. I've always been a big fan of turbo controllers, even though I can press buttons really fast. I like having a turbo controller, and I like having a pause button as well. You kind of put me on the spot to think of any other ones, but the fact that I have had that damn near as long as I've had my PlayStation, and I have it still to this day, and would still use it today, depending on the game, it's probably my favorite one.
Good choice. So, mine is a Game Boy peripheral. I had one of the...
Can I take my bag? God damn it, I forgot about that one.
I had the magnifying / light thing that went over the top of it. So I didn't really care about the magnifying, but that light was so useful. It let me play, any time of day or night, and I was able to see the screen. I don't think I used any other peripheral, non-standard peripheral, as much as I did that.
I will agree, and I will say probably because the same reason I didn't use this one as long. I think I either sold it, traded it, or I've had that controller. God, we're talking about close to 15, 16 years now. But my next, right underneath it, I think my mom may have gotten this for me. I think she did. There was a peripheral, and I'm sure it had a name. I need to feverishly look this up before I get the name wrong. But it was for the Game Boy as well. It was like the Mega Boy, like the Super Mega Boy. It was, okay, so it had the magnifying glass in the front, number one. It had a light with the magnifying glass, that's 2. It had 2 stereo speakers that folded off to either side. That was 3.
I don't know if I had that.
And I didn't really use it this much, but it also had a joystick / raise buttons adapter you could put on your Game Boy. That was 4. I love that thing. The main reason why is because when I got that, I also got Metroid 2 around the same time, and to hear that music, to hear the intro music and the game music with that stereo music on, and then I played Link's Awakening with that music on, with those speakers blasting stereos. I mean, we're talking fucking Game Boy music, folks. We're not talking fucking, stellar music. But to go from having that little bitty speaker off in the bottom right-hand corner of your Game Boy to having 2 fold-out, louder, bumping, blaring speakers playing, Metroid music or Zelda music or Mario's Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins music, whatever. Oh, it was great. I loved it. Didn't have it for that long, unfortunately, for whatever reason, but I remember it and I loved it.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I don't know if I saw yours or someone else's, but I didn't have that one. I just had the screen and light version.
Yeah. And again, it also, of course, having the magnifying glass and the lights was great. It was called the Handy Boy. That's what it was, the Handy Boy. I used the light and the magnifying lens. I had a magnifying lens, Chris. I used the magnifying light. God dang it! I can't talk. Hello, my name's Michael, and I talk in my own podcast. I use the magnifying lens and the light and the speakers almost every time I played it. Almost every time. I didn't need the light if it was daytime, mostly. But I didn't really use the joystick and the raise button feature thing. It didn't really work for me. I think I tried that immediately out the box and was like, I don't like it, and just never used it. But really, to be quite honest, it was mainly for those speakers.
Yeah.
I loved it. But, what are some other notable ones in my life? When I had my Atari 2600, you can check out episode I don't remember. When we were talking about, which episode? I think it was 15. We're on 19 now, correct? Yeah. So I think that was 15. That was right when you came back. My grandmother purchased an Atari 2600 for me way back in the day, close to 28, 29 years ago. With that came with 20 games, but it also came with 2 or 3 like tennis paddle peripherals. I never really used them because I didn't have a tennis game. It came with a couple extra joysticks, and it came with something else. I just forget. It was just a box full of Atari 2600 goodness. I did have an NES Advantage back in the day. I mean, of course, when I have a Nintendo, it did come with it come with a zapper.
Yeah.
I mean, I had that. But I did have an NES Advantage. Surprisingly, aside from the fact that it had a turbo and a slow button as well, I didn't use that much. For me, playing Mario or Zelda or a number of games on the Nintendo with an arcade stick. It didn't really work for me. How about you, Chris? What one comes to mind?
I mean, really, the whole duck hunt with the gun, that's kind of the first thing that pops in my mind after the Game Boy. Because that was really the first big one that I experienced. Talking about controllers, I've never really been into the whole arcade joystick thing that, people like to use for fighting games. I had one for Sega Genesis, and I think that was actually the last one I had. I don't think I had one on PlayStation.
Yeah. I don't think neither one of us are huge fighting game fans for one, so.
But I still have it. It's in my box with my Sega Genesis stuff. But I have no desire to use it. I don't really. It just doesn't do it for me.
That's kind of how I felt with the NES Advantage. For anybody that doesn't know, the NES Advantage was basically like an arcade stick for the Nintendo, which only had 2 buttons and the D-pad. Not talking about start and select, but again, to me, there are a lot of people today, and I'm sure you know some, Chris. There are a lot of people that love to play classic games using a keyboard. Now, I'm not saying anything against that. If that's the way you want to play the games how you want to play them. But for me, playing like Mega Man 4 on an arcade stick, it just doesn't feel right. I don't feel like I'm getting the same response. A lot of people swore by it. A lot of people liked it. But again, aside from the fact, I think not only did it have a turbo and a slow button, I think it had a varistor in it where you could adjust how much turbo you got. So, that's cool. But, we're just beating a dead horse. It was an arcade stick. I didn't play many fighting games. It's a Nintendo. It wasn't many fighting games anyway.
Going back to the Game Boy, did you ever have one of the cameras or the little printer that you could get with it?
Nuh-uh. I had heard about it. I thought it was a really cool idea, but I never had one. I mainly remember that revolving around Pokemon, because people would print out Pokemon pictures. Yeah.
There was, I think you posted a video to Facebook where I actually referenced that in it in the last week or so. Now, I'm not sure if you would count it as a peripheral, but what about the Super Game Boy?
Yeah, you know what? Might as well. I thought that was a great thing.
Oh yeah, I
love that. Go ahead, but I love the way when you can make the custom borders. It had like a lot of different color options. Oh man, I love that thing.
I didn't really care about that. My whole thing was I was able to play this game on my TV.
Yeah.
Sure, Game Boy's nice for travel and stuff, but when I'm at home, just like we're talking about the DS and whatnot, and how much you want to actually play it at home when you could play a different console and whatnot.
Yep.
But when you're at home and you want to play a Game Boy game, throw it in the Super Game Boy. Hey, it's up on your screen, and you can play it with the Super Nintendo controller.
This should have been a standard everybody should have jumped on board with this.
Yeah.
Everybody. Any way that you could make it where you could take a portable, insert portable console here, that should have the ability to play on a TV.
Yeah.
Love it.
I didn't even talk about it with the Switch, but it is so easy to go from playing on the Switch screen to a TV. It's literally setting it in the stand. You don't have to close the game. You don't have to do anything. You just literally drop it in. Make sure where the power cord goes in is also, it's a USB port, essentially. It almost fits my phone's cable. It's only a minor difference. All I do is make sure that lines up. As soon as it hits, it switches the output to the TV, and you're moving on to what you do. The controllers don't desync because it's all the same console. So easy. So now I've got this portable device that I can also play on my TV, and if I want to go back to the bedroom, I just pick it up, walk back to the bedroom.
How satisfying is the clicking and unclicking of the controllers?
As far as sliding them onto the screen,
Yeah.
So they lock into place, and you actually have to press a button on the back to unslide them or to slide them off. So I haven't had. There's no issue with them, falling off accidentally or anything like that. They slide right in, they click in place, and you're done. I mean,
I hear a lot of people talking good things about the clicking, like they love it. It's like a satisfying.
I'm not
click.
one of those people. I'm not the
You're
ASMR
fucking
clicking,
funny,
whatever.
I
I don't care. I'm not an audio person.
Gotcha.
I'll leave that to you.
I'll take it.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, it's really satisfying being able to do that. And we were doing that with the Super Nintendo and Game Boy. So why have we not really done it since then?
Yeah. I also remember I think you may have had one, the Turbo Touch 360. Do you remember that? I think you had one for the Sega. It was either yours or Andy's.
What? I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's a Turbo... Oh, good God. It's a Turbo Touch 360. So the idea is it is a turbo controller, and on the left side where the D-pad would be it's an octagon shaped, but it's basically a 360 touchpad.
Oh, no, that wasn't me. That was Andy.
Oh, okay, so he had it. I remember playing it at our aunt and uncle's. But
yeah, I just Googled it because I had no idea what you were talking about. I recognize it looking at it now, but no, I don't have that.
I specifically remember us playing. We were playing Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, I think.
EX plus Alpha?
No. This was on the Sega Genesis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was PlayStation.
Yeah. I remember us playing Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Edition, something, whatever. Yeah. And I remember me.
Oh, that's right. I remember now.
I remember wanting to use that Turbo Touch 360, and I kept it because I just didn't want to say anything, but I really didn't like it. Because the 360 pad on that thing was way too sensitive. I never felt like I never felt like it was registering my controls right. I never felt like it was getting my movements right. The turbo part of it worked just fine. I think it had individual, you could turn on individual turbo for individual buttons, and the turbo part worked good. But I'm trying to do a fireball with a 360 pad, which is what I felt like this thing was kind of marketed for.
Makes sense.
And it just wasn't working for me. I think I actually own one of these myself, also for my Super Nintendo, and I don't think I had that for too long. Great idea. I got what they were going for. Instead of having a D-pad, you had literally a 360-degree touch pad. But my fucking large man fingers, I just couldn't get it to work, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I'm blaming it on. I'm blaming it on you, hands. Blaming it on you. This is your fucking fault. When I die in games, it's your fault. Yes, even in Dark Souls. No, I can't say that.
Yeah, I had a PlayStation Turbo controller. I still have it. I don't know if if it still works, but I don't recall ever using the turbo. I used it what little I used it. I also liked it because it was a little bigger than the other ones because of the extra stuff in it. But what I used it mostly for was the memory buttons. You could actually put a button combinations in memory, and it would play them out.
Okay. We had the 360, but I think you had a program pad.
Yeah. I don't know if that's what it's called, but yeah, for the PlayStation, that's what I have.
You had one for the Genesis.
Did I?
Either you or Andy. It must have been a Genesis program, program pad. Because again, I think we were using this for Street Fighter as well. We were trying to plug in moves where we just make one button moves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the ProPad 6.
God, that's a hideous controller.
Wait, no. Yes. The purple one, the Pro gamepad. Yeah. I remember that now.
I don't think that was mine. I think that was Andy's, but yeah, I remember. That
must have been Andy's as well, yeah. For anybody that remember, Chris, it's always somebody's new episode. For anybody wondering who the fuck Andy is, find out who this awesome gamer dude is. You know, speaking of which, I'd love to find that guy on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'd love to find Andy. If I just knew his last name, I could hunt him down. But a long time ago, me and Chris used to get babysit at our great aunt and uncle's house. They rented an extra room of theirs out to this guy. He was had a lot of money, and he was a fucking video game nerd from hell. He had Genesis, PlayStation, tons of games, tons of magazines, and he let us play whatever the fuck we wanted to. So yeah, he had it and let us use this. I mean, it makes sense. He used to bring crates of shit out for us to play, so. But I remember us trying to get this thing programmed. We spent so much time programming like moves, and then we would pick a new character and have to program new moves in. And we either had a Game Pro or a Tips and Tricks at hand, which had all the moves, and we were programming the moves in, and it just became more of a hassle than anything. I'm sure for people that play like Street Fighter repeatedly, this was a cool thing for them to have, but for me and Chris being like, hey, let's just pop in Street Fighter for like 20 minutes and play it and move on to something else, we didn't get much fun out of it. I made it a point to buy my own a long time after that for the Super Nintendo. I never really found much use for it either. I think I remember programming it to do the Hadouken movement, and I'd use that whenever I would get the Hadouken in Mega Man X just to make that easier, but yeah. That's about all the use I got of it. The Power Glove is a much known peripheral for the Nintendo. I never had one.
Me neither.
I went to a friend of the family's house whose son had one, and he didn't have any game that really used the pad the glove actually had games it was supposed to work with. There was some grabber game there was actually a glove on the screen. You could grab stuff with it, and I think it worked with Punch Out because that's what the commercials used to show. But if you didn't have those, it actually had a Nintendo controller basically on the glove. So imagine me going to somebody's house, putting this glove on and being like, wow, this is rad, dude. And then going to play it and be like, oh, I've got to take the glove off and then hold it long ways. And then the hand part's just flopping down and I'm just playing the game with a controller. So never really, it's cool. I get that they were doing something rad and far out, but I never had one, and it's only a few games it really worked with. So I did also get to go to a friend's house that had Rob the Robot. Nintendo made a actual robot. Anybody that plays Smash Brothers, I think Melee and above knows what Rob is.
Yeah.
But again, it also only had a few games it worked with. I think there was Gyro Might, and there was some stacker game. I don't know. But I never had one. I played it at somebody's house, and I went, cool, and then I played something else. And what about you, Chris?
So, how about, kind of going back into the add-ons versus peripherals and stuff like that, but the Rumble Pack for 64 and the expansion packs.
I loved it, man. I don't know why. It was just a simple thing. It just added fucking rumbling to me, but I think I mainly got kicks out of it when I was playing Star Fox. You know, when I would get hit and I would see the R-wing shake and then the controller would shake my hand, I like that. That worked.
Now, here's one that really I thought changed a lot of things, was the PS2 hard drive.
Yeah,
that you actually plugged into the
you're
expansion port. Back. I mean, that was required to play Final Fantasy XI. So that's when I got it, and I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing until I found out I needed it. And it was interesting, going from the world of memory cards to hard drive.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. This was the start of, all right, guys, we're moving. We're kind of sort of moving away from, you have this one memory card that has 15 blocks on it. You didn't worry about size back in the day. You know, you didn't worry about how many megabytes that PlayStation 1 memory card had. You worried about how many slots does it take up, which now that we're older, you and I know that's their way of translating an actual megabyte size. But back then, they wanted to keep it simple, keep it easy. This game will take up 1 slot. This game will take up 3. This will take up 1. This will take up 2.
It was so frustrating when a game took more than 1. Because it'd fill up so fast.
Oh, man. You remember the days of fucking swapping memory around.
I mean, that's why I had stickers on all my memory cards for PlayStation. Okay, this is my Final Fantasy VII memory card. It only has Final Fantasy saves on it. Nothing else goes on this. If you do, you're a scumbag, you know?
Yep. I had an action memory card. I had an RPG memory card. I had a miscellaneous memory card. I had like 4 memory cards, and I had to keep them labeled. I definitely remember having one specifically labeled for RPGs. All my RPGs go on here.
Did you ever have one of the memory cards that actually had a button on it to where you could switch it, and it was 2 in 1?
You could switch it. Yes, it was 2 memory cards in one.
I still got mine.
How fucking innovative were we back in the day, bruh? But I mean, dude, that was such an easy way for people to do marketing and money as well, because here's one memory card. Here's a memory card that it will get just 2 memory cards in one. We'll give you double the memory card space.
Yep, here's your blue memory card.
Man.
Here's your purple memory card. I know my favorite memory card was the blue clear one because it just looked so cool.
Yes, I remember that one. And I used to remember there were memory card stickers that would come in some magazines. I think PSM used to have some.
I super tiny lines.
Yep, I definitely remember having Final Fantasy VII memory card stickers. What an age we come from, man. I'm gonna lump all these into one big chunk and say that we're gonna save this for an episode one day. We're gonna talk about cheating. But let's not forget, you got Game Shark, Game Genie, Pro Action Replay, basically fucking modding and chipping your console. The list goes on. We're gonna talk about all that in one day. We're gonna put our fucking gloves up on the cheating talk. But yes, there were lots of peripherals and different CDs, attachments, etc. that let you cheat. I remember having the Game Genie for the Nintendo. You slide it on top of your Nintendo game. You slide in your game. The game, it sticks out about 4 inches, etc. Super Nintendo sticks on top. Yada yada. We'll have a big old talk about the cheating stuff another day. Those were definitely a thing. Remember the PlayStation one?
It actually went on the back.
Depending on what. Yeah, it went to the back to that port that they put there, but never really got used. But that Game Shark used it though.
Oh yes, I cheated, and I played through Final Fantasy VII legit, but I also cheated like crazy at that game.
Oh, yeah.
I start out, with the max experience, so you level up to like 60 after the first fight or something like that, or 36, something like that.
Chris, you don't remember the Game Shark code to bring Eris back to life? This is AB176XYFRR929 7.
So I've got another one for you, and this is a true peripheral.
Okay.
What about the Rock Band and Guitar Hero controllers?
Oh, good. Oh, full disclosure, bruh. I got all up into that. I did. I didn't go as far as Rock Band. Let me specify this. I had Guitar Hero 1, 2. I think it was 1, 2, and 3. Crucify me if I'm wrong. But I had 1, 2, and 3 for the PlayStation 2, and I had 2 guitars. I also had like 2 or 3 or 4 different PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 Dance Dance Revolution games, and I had 2 DDR pads. However, those only lasted about a year apiece, and they were eventually traded in, and I never went back. Now, I do remember going to a friend's house who had the entire Rock Band setup. He had it, the 2 guitars, the drum set, and the mic.
Yeah, I only had one guitar, but I had the drum set. I don't think I had the mic.
Yeah.
But
I mean, again, in a party scenario, sure, it was fun, but I didn't master those games. I did not Zelda Breath of the Wild those games. I didn't Final Fantasy VII those games. I played them, had fun with, me and the girl I was seeing at the time or whatever, and if I had some friends over, it was kind of cool, but not because it was cool that it became unpopular. It just became unpopular, period. It just got old, and I was like, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
The sad thing for me is one, I never experted those games, so I never got better. I played all of them on normal, and I mean, they were cool. You got to unlock more songs and whatnot, but there was nothing really there unless you wanted to increase the difficulty. And I always told myself, if I'm going to get this good at Guitar Hero, I will actually just go play a guitar and get better at that. And second, when I would go to the friend's house that had fucking Guitar World or whatever, they always wanted me to sing because I like to sing, but I didn't know the words to most of the songs. They're like, yeah, you should go ahead. I'm like, I don't know the words, so I'm going to fuck it up. And all I did was fuck it up. Had fun playing the drums, though, but again, they never stuck. Same thing with DDR. I mean, DDR was fun.
Yeah, I only played it in the arcade.
Yeah, I was totally on board with the whole let's use DDR as like a workout thing for a little while. That lasted about a month and a half, and I was like, I'm good.
Yeah,
and they just kind of faded from my life.
I had a friend who actually set up, his DDR pad, and I know of others who put, plywood below them and stuff because they were soft mats. So unless you had a hardwood floor, it didn't work too well. But they basically build their own platform, like in the arcade, to play on at home because, it's what they wanted to do. But I actually had a routine for a while when I worked at a little restaurant that some friends of the family owned. After I'd get off, 9 o'clock at night or whatever it was on a Friday night, I'd go down to the casino, to their arcade, along with some of my friends, and we'd just play DDR for a couple hours. And that was, our routine for several months.
Yeah. Like I said, it's fun, and it has its place in a life if you're a gamer, but just, for me, it just didn't stick.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun for a while, and then it left my life.
Yeah, and I've been actually seeing things lately about how it just kind of died.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing GameStops and other gaming places just having mountains of these guitars, for sale, and people were trading them in. And they're like, "Yeah, we're literally going to give you like 4 cents.
Yeah. I've still got mine.
Nobody wants these."
And one of the guitars was bigger than the other, so I preferred it.
Yeah.
Though I had issues. Something about the buttons. I had a hard time once it got involved with like using the pinky or something like that. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
So I could play decently, but once I got into the hard songs, I was like, okay, I'm not having fun anymore.
Yeah. I think in my life, I've had one racing wheel. I don't even know. I think I might have bought it for like Gran Turismo 5 for the PlayStation 2. But again, I'm not a big racing guy, so it didn't last. I did have more. Go ahead.
I actually got rid of my racing wheel and the little paddle. I had the gas pedal too.
Yeah. Sorry, I had that too. I had a gas and a brake pedal.
I actually got rid of mine 2 years ago or so because it's just been sitting out in storage and stuff. I think I got rid of it.
Now, I'll definitely tell you now, audience, if you're remotely interested in racing, you can get this shit set up. I mean, they have really good racing wheels. You can buy them with a shifter, a gas pedal, a clutch, brake, the whole 9 yards. There are people that have made like little custom cabinets. There are people that have spent like maybe $150 at IKEA and just made like a little makeshift piecemeal racing cabinet, and then put these awesome race wheels and peripherals in it with a really good monitor. And I mean, I could get into that.
Have you
That's actually
seen
a really good experience.
Airplane flying ones? Where people literally set up cockpits with a computer screen and a joystick and buttons and stuff, to where it is a lot like sitting in, a cabin, or cockpit rather.
I mean, those are basically flight simulators, Chris. Come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. They essentially put flight simulators in their house, with this third-party stuff, just customized. It's pretty insane, some of the setups people do.
Now, what I do remember that was kind of like that, and I never got it, but I wanted to because I love mech games. Oh, yeah, I'm talking about Steel Battalion for the Xbox. That huge fucking, what was it, like 40-something button mech controller. Holy shit. Apparently,
holy crap.
Number one, I didn't have the money for this thing, so I didn't get it.
Yeah.
But I hear the actual game itself was kind of mediocre, so I never got it. If this could be done today and done better, oh man. If there is a awesome mech game, number one, we need that. If anybody has any mech games you want to recommend, let me know. But if we had a really awesome mech game and then just bring back the huge mech controller to feel like you're in the fucking pilot seat of a mech, oh, I'm all over that.
There are actually, I Googled it to look at it because I don't remember what it looks like. And there are people using it for other games.
Yeah.
The one I'm looking at now, it's set up for Star Citizen.
Oh, yeah.
So you're flying around in space using it.
Mm-hmm.
There was another one for Kerbal Space Program, which is interesting. Not what I'd imagine using it for, but...
Yeah. Just a really quick, what, do you follow Star Citizen, Chris?
No.
Are you into it? You know about it?
No, I know about it, but no, I don't.
Gotcha.
I don't care about it.
Well, you're a heartless person then. That's understandable.
I'll care about it once the full game's released.
Hey, no doubt.
Until then, I don't care.
Yeah. Now, we've talked a lot about reminiscing about peripherals that have been around.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris brought up a very interesting point and this makes total sense. I want you to talk about this for a minute, get this topic going before we head out for the night. If you think about it, with 3D gaming, we're specifically talking like VR, like Oculus and that sort of thing. Technically, you can call all that peripheral.
Yep.
I mean, they've got augmented reality and VR headsets for different consoles that are either coming out or are out, so sure. That's where all this is going. So what do you think about all this?
So the little I saw about augmented reality was the Minecraft demo at an E3 or something like that. It looked interesting, but Minecraft is not something I would care about augmented reality with. I don't think that was a good example of showcasing the technology. But VR has a lot of potential. I know they're doing Skyrim in VR, I believe. And, God, what was the other big one lately in VR? I'll try to think of it, maybe Google it in a minute. But being able to walk around a world like Skyrim or one of these other RPGs is Doom.
Doom VR?
Doom VR as well. I think the biggest issue with it is the movement. And you talked about it before some where, okay, you're controlling the movement with the, joystick on the controller, but you're still looking around with the headset and it's tracking your vision and all that.
Right.
What I've seen and what I would really like to see actually be well done and affordable, though I don't see it being affordable, but they could do it really well, is one of those motion pads that you walk on and it can rotate in any direction. It's like a treadmill that can go in any direction. So you can literally walk it and it will move the pad with you. So you're like walking on a treadmill and then you're moving in the game too. That, I think, is the ultimate combination of VR and movement controls. Because you're literally moving in the real world and the game world. Now, like I said, that's not something that'd be easily done in the home. At least not affordable to be well done. But I don't like the games that have the little teleport thing. You point where you want to go and hit the button to teleport. I think that's a cheap cop
Yeah.
out. I would much
Yeah.
rather just see them use the joystick. Just
Yeah.
suck it up, use the joystick. Don't try doing this quote unquote creative stuff, which it isn't even really creative.
Mhm.
And come up with something. But I think short of a full body thing, you're kind of stuck with what you've got.
Yeah, the VR seems like that's about the max of what we've got today. I don't really think of what peripherals we even have for consoles today outside of like custom controllers, you know?
I mean, I would argue that the Switch itself is now a peripheral.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's
As
now
soon
a
as you
handheld
pick that bad
thing,
boy
yeah.
up and go, it's a peripheral, yeah.
The Wii U had the screen controller thing. That's not really a true
Yeah.
peripheral, but it is at the same time if we're lumping controllers in. But having that second screen, which is actually fairly useful if done right, and a lot of games do use it right.
Yeah.
Trying to think. The
I think it's just the fact that they've learned lessons over time. Again, if you look back at old things like the Power Glove, like Rob the Robot, etc., or even even Duck Hunt, or I mean the Zapper,
yeah.
they were awesome. Even just from a kid's, man, you open a box and you got a fucking robot that connects to your Nintendo. Just from a kid's factor, you know that's going to be cool to you. Now, when you finally figure out there's only 3, 4, 5, even 10 games, whatever, that plays this, and you've only got 1 or 2, that's going to lose its luster. So I think maybe just over time they've learned that, you know, we don't want to make these things, they learned this lesson a long time ago, really, but we don't want to make these things that we're not going to get the maximum potential out of this. So instead, they'll make a console that has a feature that almost every game, and that's always better, right? Because then we get motion control, and then, oh wait, shit.
Yeah. I'm trying to think though, you know, I'm looking around at the consoles and outside of controllers, I don't really have any peripherals. I mean,
and they've been doing a pretty good job with controllers. You know, the Xbox One, I think, was it the Xbox One Elite controller?
yeah, I want one of those.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Me too. Just to fucking say I have one. The Steam had a Steam controller that the biggest selling point of that thing was the ultimate customization. I mean, you customize that thing any way you want to, but apparently it's not that good, so it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, the Elite, one of the things I really want it for is because it has the paddles on the back, and you can map those to any button you want.
Yes.
So you now have a alternative way to pressing 2 buttons. And you have a little thing you can program them at will.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of a process it is, but it seems like you just open an app on the Xbox, and it configures it.
There's a couple things we haven't talked about on the slightly older consoles. Was the Kinect? That's a peripheral.
God.
Oh, and you hear that, folks? Did you hear that? That's why we didn't talk about it.
I was so happy. I was ecstatic even when I was able to buy an Xbox One that did not come with that. Because for a while, they were originally releasing it where you did not have a choice. It was $100 more than what it cost afterwards, and you got it. There literally was not a version that did not have the Kinect. But fortunately enough, people didn't like that they go, okay, you can get the version without the Kinect. That's fine.
I have yet to see anything about any of that interests me. And you know what? That kind of goes to the PlayStation Eye toy or whatever. Nothing ever really appealed to me.
Yeah. It has potential, but it ended up having too much of a creepy factor to it as well.
Yeah, it seemed too awkward.
Yeah.
I guess there's other peripherals. I mean, there's always like USB extensions for like the PS4.
I actually had the PS2, I had a keyboard that I could plug into the PS2. And I know the other consoles have that now, but the PS2 was the first one I did it with.
Hey, Chris, why'd you have that?
Final Fantasy 11.
Yep, same here. You know, one that I never... Okay, there's... Oh, God, this brings back some memories. Okay, there is a PlayStation 1... I had to find this. The PS1 is some kind of glove-style controller. I had this thing. Oh, man. I think because of the cool factor of it, I guess. One-handed video game controller. Yes, it was this one. It was called I don't want to see a video. Stop playing a video, please. The glove. If you for the guys and gals listening, you can type in PlayStation 1, the glove. I bought that from somewhere. It wasn't a GameStop. This is some other like video game place. They had one, and I spent what was probably in my money back in the day was a good bit of money. So happy to get this thing home and play it. Chris, this is a piece of fucking shit. I tried this on multiple games, on multiple styles of games, and it was fucking retarded. I didn't control. A lot of people said it hurt their wrist because you use take your hand, stick it straight out.
Okay.
Push your hand up, push your hand down, move it left, move it right. You do that enough, your wrist is going to hurt. Yeah. That's how you control the left and right, up and down movement. Oh. I said, oh, it sucks for y'all. I didn't play with this shit long enough for it to hurt my hands. It was garbage. It just, I'm sure if I spent many, 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 many days and hours, I could probably get this down and make it where I control things averagely, but it was garbage. So I had that. Huh. There was that glove, and then this is how far down the hole I went before I finally just caved in. There was an adapter that you could hook up, and it was a peripheral that you could hook up to your PC via USB, and you had it in your hand, and it would let you use the mouse as a full controller. If that makes any sense. I don't remember what it was called, but it fit like over and in your hand, and you controlled it, and you can move the mouse. You're moving it around, and it was acting like a mouse. It was. I never used it. I never bought it. What I have done to this day, this is probably going to be some more crucifixion on my part, is most of the games that I play on Steam and most of the games that I play on my PC, period, I still play with an Xbox controller. Yeah. Specifically, I play with an Xbox One controller, wireless controller. The only games that I play with a mouse and keyboard are usually RTSs.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I get it. I understand the precision. I get, like, especially for first-person shooters. Yes, if I play Battlefield 3 right now on my PC, I would play with a controller. Man, I can hear it, Chris. I can hear him now.
Yeah. You're all right. I'm right there with you, though. And
I've always done it.
I love Destiny 2, and a lot of my friends are playing it on PC. But I played the beta on PC. I did not like the controls on keyboard. I was like, if I play this on PC, I'm just going to end up using an Xbox controller. So it's going to be just like I'm playing Xbox, except I'm going to be playing against people using keyboard and mice that are going to just destroy me. So why would I do that? It's not fun at that point. But I've tried to get better about at least trying to use keyboard and mouse because I understand the ways it's better. But if it's not comfortable, if the controls aren't well done, I'm just not going to do it. I don't like playing certain types of RPGs with keyboard and mouse. Typically, they're not too bad, but any kind of world movement, I like having the controller.
Yeah. I remember what this was. I want to pull this back real quick and get this specified before, because I know it was confusing what I was saying. What this stemmed back to was and this was only on the Call of Duty era, because I sucked so bad at Call of Duty. I got tired of sucking, and everybody always told me the reason why you're sucking is because you're playing on the controller, you're playing on the 360. You should be playing these games on a PC with a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
So I found a peripheral that it was a mouse and / keyboard style thing for your Xbox 360. In your right hand, you had a mouse. In the left hand, had almost kind of like a keyboard, and it had a analog stick as well, and some buttons as well. So it was pseudo mouse and keyboard. You would have the precision of your mouse was the key point.
Yeah.
But I never bought it. I never get into it. I just moved on. And when I started playing Battlefield 3 and all the other first-person shooters I ever played on the computer, I still played them with a controller. I'm sure I could teach myself to play. I'm sure I could wean myself off, but do I want to? No. I've never had the inclination to.
I believe I actually read an article, and I don't know how much truth there is to it, but I believe it said something about Destiny 2. I think it was Destiny 2. It might have been another FPS, but it actually now supported mouse and keyboard on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
So you could plug it into the USB ports, because they're just standard USB ports now. You could literally plug them in and use mouse and keyboard on the game.
Yep.
So like, okay. So now we've gone from, playing PC games with a controller to playing console games with keyboard and mouse.
Yep. And if anybody ever wonders why I use an Xbox One, I used to use an Xbox 360. Why was you using an Xbox 360, not a PS3 or a PS4 controller? I actually started this whole entire thing years ago with trying to use a PlayStation 3 wireless controller on my computer, but the drivers, the X input or whatever setup I had to do it, it was just too convoluted. It was just too much shit. I'm sure today it's much easier, but back then it was too much shit.
Not for PS3. Yeah. What I actually use, my main PC controller is actually a PS2 controller, using a adapter. It's this little, and I've bought several of them over the years.
Me too. That was another problem. I had to buy too many of them because it didn't seem like some of them were working. So
mine aren't negative reasons for buying more. It's positive. I had mine. I had to get one for her computer, and I got one for when I was traveling or something to go on the laptop.
Gotcha.
I love them. I've never had one go bad or anything like that, and I have never had to install a driver for it to work. So now there are certain games that won't recognize the analog because of the way the PS2 stuff works. So I've heard that the PS4 controllers are much better about it. Yeah. I might actually open up my PS4 Pro that I'm getting for Christmas early because it arrived today. I might actually open it up and get the controller just to test it on the PC and see what it's like. Because I heard it was seamless, just like the Xbox One is now.
Yeah, and just what you said. That's the reason why I use an Xbox One controller. I spent like $15 and got the Xbox One wireless adapter. Put it in. I turned it on. I synced the two. Windows was like, "Give me a second." Ding! It's on. So now all I gotta do is turn my controller on, pick whatever fucking game I want. It automatically syncs to it. It automatically knows it's there. It sets that as a default controller setup. And when I'm done playing, I just turn it off.
Yeah.
That easy. No muss, no fuss.
I just wish I'm actually at the point where I wish I had more Xbox One controllers because I hate desyncing from the Xbox One and putting it on my PC and going back. Because I had to do that. And the other thing I say, I wish we had more. We have 4 controllers.
Oh, wow.
We have one hooked up to the kids' Xbox One right now. There's normally 2, because 2 kids, 2 controllers. But I actually took my daughter's controller and used it on my Xbox One because both of mine were dead one day. So right now, all 3 I have 3 controllers on my Xbox One right now. But I like to keep 2 of them. One's my Halo edition, so of course I'm going to use that as my primary. And then I have the other one because I'm lazy about recharging. So
Yeah, there was a point that I had. Oh, what do you use? Do you use a recharger kit or do you use rechargeable batteries?
So I use rechargeable batteries.
Me too.
Where I just plug it in, the controller into the USB thing. I did it on 360 as well.
Oh, I have actual rechargeable batteries.
Oh,
I've got,
okay. Yeah.
Like 30 double A's
Yeah.
and 20
I have
AAAs
literally
and a
the battery
big
packs that
ass
go
charger.
in that are rechargeable.
Yeah. That's kind of how it was for me too with so many controllers. Back when it used to be the Xbox 360 controller I used, I had one for my PC, I had one for my 360, she had one for her 360, and we had one for a backup, just for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Same thing with Wii, like we had four Wiimotes, 4 Wii nunchucks.
Yeah, if I get a Elite controller, I'd probably put that on Xbox One and take one of the, not my Halo edition, but my other one. Or maybe the Halo edition can go on my PC.
Yeah.
And then I'll use the Elite on the console.
I'll tell you what, I will take a quick second to make a shout out to a couple Wii peripherals that are actually really good. One, as I said, I'm not a racer. I don't like racing
Please
games.
don't say
I
the
do
wheel.
like. Oh no. Okay, well, so Chris just shot my face off, so I'm not going to talk about that one.
Nah, go ahead.
Fuck you, because I don't like I like racing, and I try to use the actual motion control when I'm racing in Mario Kart. I fucking suck at it. I bought a couple of the wheels. I bought one for me and for her, and we both can use the racing wheel. Now, if we're talking about the same one, it's a wheel, and you just shove your Wiimote into it. Yeah.
I'm the opposite. But I cannot steer with that controller, with it inside the wheel.
You just have problems.
Yeah, I just suck. I mean, I don't know.
You just suck. And again, I'm only praising because those, as far as motion control, and if I'm specifically talking about Mario Kart, specifically talking about that racing wheel, and specifically talking about using the motion control in that game, it worked better for me. But when I'm playing that game, I don't use motion control. I use a controller. Second, random friend's house a long time ago. If you ever want to have a good party time, if we're talking about the Guitar Hero style, have some friends over, have fun, play games, get them. They have a House of the Dead. I want to say it's a trilogy, or it might be just 1 and 2. I don't remember. But I specifically remember playing House of the Dead 2 at a friend's house, and he had 2 of these kick-ass fucking shotgun Wii guns. Like you cock the gun and everything. I fucking had a blast with that. It had force feedback when you shot. Huh. For a Wii game, it brought back House of the Dead 2 like nobody's business.
Yeah, I don't think
Peripheral.
I think I heard of that, but I don't think I ever used one.
Had a good time with it. So yeah, I mean, like we said, as far as peripherals today and where they're going, I mean, I agree. I think VR and augmented stuff, mainly VR with headsets and the like, that's pretty much where peripherals are going. You'll see some knockoff companies that will offer different things, but they typically roll into the controller area. It's a racing wheel, it's a controller, a joystick or whatever. Hell, there's even the little little Game Freak pads that they were like attachments to the Xbox 360 joysticks. They basically extended them to make controlling easier. Yeah, they never work. But yeah, I think VR is the way it's going, and I guess I don't know if we've had our VR discussion or not. We may have, but that's going to be a topic for another day. We'll see where that's going. It's got potential, but we'll see. I think that's it, man. I think it's gonna do it for tonight, man. I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the End of Time podcast. You can send us some feedback on any memories you have on peripherals, any ones that we've forgotten, ones that were. What was your favorite peripheral that you had? Did you have any peripherals? God, you may be young enough to where you didn't have any. Or anything we talked about today. Tell us how much you hate Black Flag, because it's actually a piece of shit game. You can send us an email. You can tell Chris is not listening. Send us an email. All right, either Chris is not listening or he's not going to dignify that. One of the two. You can send us an email at endoftimecast@gmail.com. That's endoftimecast@gmail.com. No funny spelling or numbers in there, just as it is. You can find our Facebook page. Probably how you find us today. Send us a message, put a post on the wall, whatever you want to do, get in contact with us. We got a Twitter page. Somebody will tweet me eventually. Many ways to get a hold of us. Let us know your feedback. We would love to hear your feedback. I'm pretty sure at this stage of the development cycle of the End of Timecast, you're probably going to get it read. We did have a suggested topic. I can't exactly tell you the source. It's kind of a secret source. Made a suggestion for a topic. I wasn't going to point it out because they did not actually put it on an email or a message or anything. They just kind of sent it to me in a text message. I'm trying to find it real quick. It was well, I guess I can't. Oh, you know what? He may have sent it through a Facebook message. Maybe I'll find it there. I'm trying my best to get your message read because nobody ever emails us. It's a sad thing. I mean, we still have a small audience, though, Chris. You know how it is. We're not exactly the largest thing out there. They'll come to us. But again, if it ever makes you think about messaging us at this stage, you're probably going to get it read. Question, comment, whatever. Suggested topic: games where you artificially increase the difficulty to extend the gameplay. Now, that has positive and negative annotations, I'll tell you that. It could be where I'm not liking this game, let me jack the difficulty up to make it more engaging to me. Or it's, this game is fucking easy, I'm about to roll it in 5 minutes, let me jump the difficulty up to make it longer. I'll tell you this, somebody suggested this to me a long time ago. Just start every game on hard. Just start every game on hard.
I actually have seen a lot of streamers, that's what they do. They start out on hard because that's going to give the best overall experience for their viewers.
Yeah.
Depending on the game, of course. But yeah.
And if you're an average, if you've been playing games for a while, I mean, it's not going to be that way out of your league. And a lot of games today have it to where, hey, are you getting your shit kicked in? Yeah, go ahead and kick it back a notch. Oh, you beat this boss? Go ahead and kick it back up to where you had it, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll throw that topic in sometime, Adam. Shit. Shit, I said his name. Shit. So, all right, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. Thanks for listening. Send us some feedback. We love to hear from you. We love you. Big kisses and hugs. Big kisses. Until next time, I'm Michael.
I'm Chris.
Good night, everybody.